Doom Bros in suits. All coaches should wear suits. All right. Of course, they're going to hate us because we're not wearing suits. But we can command it. They can. So in any DRX and, of course, their upcoming matchup against Optic.
My impressions of DRX are that they are a really coordinated team. For us, when we were playing Breeze, we were having a lack of attitude to play when we were on defense. So when we swapped the sides, we just talked to each other and said, guys, we need to do our game. This is our moment to play. We can't let them do whatever they want. So I think that was the thing that changed for us. I think we studied them really good. We knew what they were gonna do on Heaven, so it went according to plan. We knew what they love to do on that map, the rotations they do, everything, and we just play our game and it went really good.
Trying to get back in, fighting through. It's into a 2 versus 2. What is that? Just one. What a swing round coming back.
NA is really strong in this tournament. And I think they do have a lot of good players. I'm feeling really confident that we can beat them. I think that when we are under pressure is when we shine the most, because our mentality is really good. We trust each other really a lot, and we know that when the map is not over till it's over. So we're just gonna keep going and going and trying and trying.
Well, they're confident, but is the community? We actually asked you guys earlier a poll question, who's winning champions? And the results are in. Let's see what we got. Drum roll, please. Optic, winning by 33%. Psycho, your reaction?
Just silencing the doubters one at a time. NA is here. We're strong. We're ready to be back on top. You know, this is step one of that process for Optic, but Chet, Finesse, and the boys, I think they're ready to close it out.
I feel like FPX got trolled by the classic conundrum of not having enough fans, because they really are one of the favorites to win this tournament, and they're at the very bottom of that poll.
I mean, they're favorites, except that they have the longest route to actually get there, because they have multiple lower bracket games to win, more chances to fall out. But I think there's a lot of faith there in DRX, no?
There is.
The community is flipping and flopping. So one day everyone believes in the curse, one day everyone says DRX are going to win the entire thing. We just need to see the results.
I think it could very well have just been Seth making a bunch of bot accounts.
He doesn't have blackmail material on that many people.
I don't know. But guys, we're down to the final 4 teams, and after today, only 3 will remain. The crown is within everyone's grasp. The only question is, who's going to snatch it? Valorant Champions Istanbul starts right now.
We understand there is no way back. There is no chance for mistakes.
This is our moment to win. We're coming to take everything.
DRX, they write a new future. They advance.
일단은 1단계 저주를 푸는 거는 끝났고 이제는 끝까지 올라갈 일만 남은 것 같아요.
DRX should fear our preparation, to be honest. I think we're the best prep team in the whole event.
확실히 우승을 한 팀이다 보니까 확실히 강한 면이 있는 것 같고 자신감도 그 플레이에서 나오는 것 같아서.
What a clutch from Stacks.
To win this game, we need to stay calm and start focusing more and more.
네, 당연히 승자라고 생각을 하고 2대1로 이기고 있는 거는 이제 기록상으로 나온 거기 때문에 저희가 FPX를 이기고 있다라고 생각을 해도 될 것 같죠?
Cloud are able to close it for the second time. They will be going to the upper finals.
Being able to represent Brazil every time here was really good, really amazing for me. The only thing that is left is win a tournament, you know.
Oh, I love beating Saucy. We've beaten him at this tournament, so we're confident we can do it again.
We are hyped. We want to face them again, and I'm feeling really confident that we can beat them.
I mean, I would say us and Loud are still like a rivalry, even though we do usually beat them, unfortunately for them.
And a quick spray down, crashes, reigns supreme.
When we're under pressure is when we shine the most. You're gonna have to face us, and it's not gonna be easy.
Good luck, Loud. Play better than you did last time, and maybe you'll win.
Welcome back, everybody. I have a surprise for you guys. It's not me. It is one of the biggest brains in all of Valorant. Welcome, Boaster.
Well, I didn't know Tarek was here.
He's up there, actually.
He's actually looking at you from above.
Oh, that's true. That's how I like it, up there.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you couldn't make it as far as you wanted to in this tournament, but I feel like we're secretly blessed that we get him for one desk here at Champions.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited to talk about the game. Obviously, Optic and Loud, big matchup, and it's to get to the upper bracket final. So yeah, let's get down to it.
Yeah, let's get down to it. Boaster said it, and it's time for us to activate the stage.
Loud. Optic. DRX. FPX.
For the ban face. Well, both of these teams are very familiar with each other. Saisho, what are you expecting when it comes to the picks and bans here?
I think Loud have an easy ban, but also Optic. Optic need to get rid of Breeze, in my opinion. Loud have been so good at it, and that's where Optic have struggled.
Well, let's see if they are going to get rid of the Breeze here. They played each other before in this tournament, and the last time they got rid of the Icebox. And Boaster, it's the Icebox once again. What do you make of this?
I was actually expecting the Icebox. It's mainly because if I was to think of it as an IGL and I was going to tally up my kind of tier list of my maps, so 1 to 7, I'd put it about 6 or 7 for Optic because they've had some weird, saucy, lost in the sauce comps. And then for Loud, they've been looking absolutely solid on that map.
Yeah, second ban is pretty much an obvious choice for Loud. Last time these two played, Pearl got through and they got dominated. Since then, they've been banning it away early in pretty much every veto.
Yeah, Bind makes perfect sense. I mean, Bind is the best pick that Optic could go for in this situation. Loud have only played it once. It was a pretty shaky win over Zeta Division, but it didn't look convincing to me. And I don't know about you, Boaster, but I think they're probably the best team in the world on Bind.
Yeah, although I might have to contest that we might be able to put a challenge there.
Okay.
However, especially with this event. But yeah, we took most of our stuff from Optic. They really kind of set the standard of Find, especially with that chamber.
Yeah, we're starting off strong, but Ascent, this is where Loud Mimi is going to come out on top. Expected.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. They've played a lot of Ascent thus far this tournament, have always looked solid on it, but it's one of Optic's comfort zones. They have a lot of different comps and ideas to play on that map, so it should be even. And Optic actually get rid of the Haven. I'd have expected Loud to do that.
Yeah, Loud have not been favoring Haven. They've only played it once. It was against DRX, and they look surprisingly good, actually. But I feel like they used most of their set plays up in that game against DRX, so I'm surprised that Optic didn't keep that in the pool.
I think they didn't because I'm actually more surprised that Optic banned Haven because Breeze, although Loud did look good at Breeze, actually, if I think about it. Loud did look good at Haven, I mean. So then the fact that they kept Breeze open, I think is more of a coin toss map. They were close. If they can just kind of work out their attack sides and they get enough rounds, I think Ye will close out the defense.
Attack sides for Breeze on Optic have just been so rough. I mean, that is definitely an area that they've kind of maneuvered the map veto in that direction. So you've got to expect that they were expecting it, first of all, and have done some level of prep towards it, too, to make it better for this match.
Yeah, this team has shown willingness to make change on Breeze in particular. They've shown a couple different maps here and have tried out a couple different ideas. I think it is intentional that it's being left this late in the veto, and whatever they have ready for it is going to be very interesting, particularly as that final map.
I mean, this is the match we want to see over and over again. I'm excited to jump into it, but before that, we're going to take a little break, but do not go anywhere. Agent Select for Map 1 is coming up next.
Where am I?
Welcome back to Valorant Champions Istanbul. Let's bring out the two teams fighting for a spot in that grand finals on Sunday. Here is Loud and Optic Gaming.
Crash cheese. Gather. Victor. Less. Finesse. Sardark. Marved. Saucy. Yay. Bars. Checked. BCK.
Well, both of these teams are no strangers to an upper bracket. A final, but the stakes have never been higher. Winning here will give you a massive advantage going into that grand final, and Mimi one step closer to a big trophy.
Absolutely, and both these teams have been here before, against each other before. This is a rematch of the upper final in Reykjavik. Last time it was Loud to take it home, but Optic to close out and win that tournament.
And that is what Loud hunting so heavily to avoid. But you still need the win this time around. And last time that map veto advantage didn't really work in their favor because they're quite an inexperienced team. Now Loud have been to tournaments like this and they know how to win, they know how to close out opponents. This is a much more dangerous squad.
Yeah, and Boaster, you don't want to be in that lower bracket. It is stressful and you have to play a lot more games. So how big of an advantage do you think it would be for one of these teams to just win it here today?
Yeah, to be able to ban out 2 of your opponent's maps in the grand final is huge, I think. Like, especially when you might not have a solid 7 map pool, just to get rid of those kind of safe map options and have the advantage in that grand final is massive. And I remember speaking to Pancada in a hotel lobby as well, and he was looking. He looked pretty confident with today's game. I'm going to give him that. He's like, we played Optic before, we want to beat him this time, and I'm rooting for them.
Ooh, yeah, they really want that win. On top of getting that advantage, it's also winning out in this rivalry, not just between these two teams, but between two regions. The last North American team, the last South American team left in this tournament. Who's going to be the best from the Americas?
And that's going to be a rivalry that extends into next year. You just know it's going to be. So this is just a tantalizing taster to what could be for these players as they continue to compete. And at the moment are vying for one of the best squads ever, that would be Optic, heading into next year.
Yeah, let's talk about Bind, because if we take a look at the compositions they played, Boaster, you guys have been playing both of these comps in the past as well and have found success both times. So is there a comp that you feel like you are leaning more towards when it comes to Bind?
I'd say I'm more of a fan favorite of the Optic comp now. I think, especially if you have an impactful chamber, it really kind of changes the game with the fast TPs for rotations and the trip itself for the flank control on the attack side. Because that was often our kind of struggle when we were running Loud's comp, was we were a bit too slow to kind of get back to the other side of the map and execute, and thus we were getting punished when the anti-strat started coming in.
One of the wild things as well for me watching Optic is that they can make weird comps work. It's this map, they play, I would agree with you, the best comp. And then they've played like Phoenix double Sentinel, they've played duelist comps where Ye is just ripping everyone's heads off. Feels like FNS has a really great understanding of how to run these attack sides, and Ye is just simply killing everybody. So that is going to make things really difficult for Aspas and the rest of Loud.
Yeah, and there's a whole pack of dogs now, Mimi, on stage. So many of them.
I think he's adding a new dog every time they win a game. 5 Series 1 thus far, 5 dogs on the stage. They want to make this the 6th. They want to take home that trophy, have all 7 dogs in their hands.
I mean, we are in Turkey. We've spoken a lot about the cats, but I feel like there's a lot of dogs here in Istanbul as well, and I think it's really, really cute for them, all the plushies to be represented on stage. Boaster, I don't think you guys ever take anything special on your desks, do you?
No, we did take a little neon on for our first game, and we ended up losing that series against 100 Thieves, so we decided best not to take anything on, just leave it for the kind of like every other team.
Yeah. The debuff, the stuffed animals debuff. I feel like I should be responsible for that because I did give Minnie the neon last event.
Didn't you also give like a little stuffed animal to Benkai and now he's out of the tournament? Are you a curse?
Maybe I am, Mimi. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem this whole time.
At least you didn't give stuffed animals to Aspas. You know, he's been able to go out and acquire them himself. That's it. He's earned them. He hasn't been given them. Maybe that's the difference here. I think Aspas is going to be such a pivotal player when you're looking towards this map. With the way that Loud end up playing, he has to dive in so deep on a lot of these entries. He's double blast packing out of hookah, he's going down short. and he ends up getting somewhat isolated, but he's a good enough player that he can often go 1-for-1 and make a lot of space for the rest of the team. I'm just not sure how well that's going to work against Optic.
Yeah, I mean, when you have these two flavors of stars, Aspis and Ye going up against each other, you also have the kind of two different compositions. If Ye is locking in that chamber, as he pretty much always does, it's going to be him versus Aspis. Aspis trying to find those deep dives, set his team up for success, in particular on that attacking side, and it's Ye just with his consistency. It's a very hard ask for a guy who has been one of the best dive players of the tournament.
And it's with consistency on this map is going to be the team that's going to take the win. For us, it was Althea really hitting those 300 ACS rays. There were rounds where it's not going in your favor, and you just need those sort of players to kind of go, you know what, boys, I got this. And they go in and they just get those crazy 3Ks, and you're like, oh, my life is so easy as an IGL now. Let's go on to the next round.
Aspas doesn't always have those games against everybody, but he seems to always do it against Optic. Yeah. Even in the grand finals where they got kind of owned, I mean, even on maps where you'd expect them to win, and I'm talking of Reykjavik here, Aspas was still dropping outrageous kill counts. I think he was still like plus 15 or something at the end of the game, even though they lost 1-3. But Aspas is always good for it against this team. I'm not exactly sure why, but just something about the rivalry seems to bring out the best in this player.
Yeah, he always has those moments. On the other side, though, you have someone who is also tending to play that race. It's been Victor. He was a guy when he's competing at home, has been one of those big win conditions for Optic, stepping up and matching Ye in his stardom. But thus far at Champions, he's had a bit more of a quiet run. It's been just leaning more into just being that role player.
All right, heading into the Prime Gaming agent to select here. We've spoken about the comps already. We're expecting both teams to likely stick to what they've been picking before. But Boaster, anything that you would like to maybe see differently? Is there any agents you want to see them bring in?
To be fair, I don't think so. I think both teams kind of have their own kind of set comps, their set style of playing, and they just kind of have to believe in it and know the kind of how the enemy team's playing as well, and just play that game. You know, when I think about how we go into anti-strats, at the end of the day, I'm just like, we just have to play our game. Like, we know what they're doing, so we have that advantage at least, but as long as we're kind of getting the information, so here with the Sky and the Fade, like, that comp is all about getting that information on defense, because you have the Sky on one side, the Fade on the other, and you got to get that information.
I think one of the big advantages here for Loud as well, as they face up against this comp, which is fantastic on Bind, it's almost a bit of a free roll map. You know, you're not expected for Loud to win the first map. You're looking towards map 2, map 3. So if you can get a big edge here and get yourself flowing into it and get yourself into the zone as you head into maps 2 and 3, that's where you can really turn the series around. It can be a decent position to be in.
I'm really fixated on the two initiators that Loud is bringing into this matchup. When Optic plays on that attacking side, which is where they start here, they love to slow down that place, exploit gaps. You don't have a chamber, you don't have the dedicated sentinel. It's going to have to come down to giving that space and leaning into the reclears.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for your input. It's time for us to get into game with your casters for today. It's Mitchman and Tombiz.
Well, Tom, I'm excited to kick this one off. We've seen the agent select, and we're sticking to their guns. We know that they're playing comfortable comps. This is going to be one hell of a game.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting veto, even just to start with. The fact that it's a slight switch up going for Bind, I don't think that's a surprise. It's more just a ban out of the side of Optic that gets me a little bit excited that maybe they've tried to work out the kinks on Breeze. I'm really hoping we get there, but this first map definitely in the favor of the guys from North America.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way, as we heard on the desk. Boaster might not agree, but most of the world will see Optic as the best Bind team right now. Maybe Fnatic are a close follow-up. We're about to dive into this map, and yes, Optic are the favorites here. They'll start on the attack, but Tom, it doesn't really seem like it matters which side they start on. They just dominate this map start to finish.
Yeah, I think over the last couple of events, the worst first half they've had is 7 rounds. So it's going to be really difficult to play up against that. And even their attacking side, you have players like Ye who are going to basically try and deny any aggression from Loud, which is mostly going to be their plan on this defensive side.
Right away, Optic are looking for a bit of control inside of Bath. They've already put in a flash, seen nothing there. Loud definitely stacking up on this A side, looking to push through on the back of the flash, the nade to push them out of position, but they get nothing for their troubles. They'll reset completely, not wanting to overextend. And the rotations have come through. I mean, the danger here is that Les is all alone on B.
It almost looks like they're playing for delay and playing for the retake, just hoping that this push comes in through towards that A site. orb going to be collected early, but they're already finding out so much information. I wonder if they'll have to switch things up. And actually, Pincada, he's going to get the opener.
I mean, just too many bodies here. And look at the swing from Sadik. It's not expected. Optic running into a heavier site than they were ready for. And Marv is going to have to do something. The spike is in the open in front of him, trying to retrieve it as his teammates rush into the site and actually carve out a decent bit of map control. Good trades again from Crashies. And that man who was alone on B is now alone on the server.
Yeah, they started off so strong with the openers they got, but the trades back from Optic leave this down to less. A long rotation all the way back, of course, the trap offline, so he can at least bypass that piece of utility, no problems. The thing is, though, the setup is so passive, and you can see just Crashy starting to get a little bit intrigued as to whether or not he's going to come from that CT spot. For now, though, he's going to see absolutely no one.
Got his orb back as he moves towards the site. Low HP on Crashies, but that might not help. Still with a flash to play with. Marv is coming to swing on through, and Crashies is a little awkward at first, but he closes it out with his triple. Optic have taken the pistol.
A fantastic resurgence from them. Like, just seeing the re-aggression of players like Marv being able to get them back into the round, but Crashies mainly 3 kills from him, even low on HP for a couple of them, and honestly, that's a pistol that probably should have gone the way of Loud. It was a push into the stack with 2 openers going the way of the Brazilian side, and, well, this man ends up turning it back.
You have that poison orb there right from the start for Les as well, so even when there's 4 players on the A site, there's effectively 5 in the utility you have available to you. What a fantastic result for Optic taking the pistol. Now we see if Loud have any special plans for this round. Of course, they're coming in with pistols. Aspis, interestingly, has got the Stinger, and that's not a buy that I think I've ever seen for this kind of round.
No, the Stinger, no shields. I don't know how he's going to make this one work. Of course, on the other side of things, they have themselves full shields on every player, so it's not even like he can sort of get away with, okay, the 2-shot kill like you would on the other side. So I don't know if that was a misfire or if just a specific plan that he has in mind to try and do some damage.
It's definitely a curious one. And look at the pressure they're putting on B main now as Optics. They're coming over to Hookah, they flashed in, they put through their boombot, they see no one there, the flash reveals no one. Starting to look pretty convincingly like it's clear. They'll even commit a little bit of extra utility to it. The problem is, from Loud's perspective, they have already read that this is a fake. Whether Optic commit to A now or not
look at Crashies.
Up for question.
That's the thing. I feel like he's getting far enough that they may just opt to switch things back, and you can see the spike starting to go in that direction as well. This fake is being sold, and eventually the players are just going to run straight back through the TP. Good fake out from Optic, because the running back in towards those latter stages still had its risks about it, but the fact that they managed to just sell a little bit of a fake, all the players are going to stick around. The only danger is actually Marv. He could lose his gun.
Yeah, they know this. That's why they made the push they did, so quickly reacting around middle. He's only got 20 HP. A right click, enough to take him down.
Okay.
The Stinger is the one to find the frag, but Marv has made up for it. They'll go looking for this Bulldog. This is a valuable weapon, and you don't want Aspis to have it. With it removed, this round, I think, altogether can be looked at as a success.
Oh, a massive one. Especially the ult you want to be charging up is going to be that orbital strike. So Marv is now only 1 away. There's so many aspects of this map where that can be just incredibly valuable for them. So that's a worry. I wouldn't be surprised to see Optic challenge the orb early in this round.
That's actually so sad. 42% of Loud's international matches against Optic. And, you know, it's Optic that beat them every single time. That's why they haven't had a chance to play even more international games, because Optic keep on knocking them out. They won it way, way back. And ever since then, it's just been a dominant North American result time and time again. Round number 3, Optic have got 1 rifle bought up on Marv. Everyone else has kept their weapons from the previous.
He's already got the orb.
That's the thing.
And this gives them so many opportunities in terms of executes. Now, you can already witness the fact that Loud have started to move players out of lamps. Just basically making that's one of the most obvious spots for them to try and clear. The other is normally the back of the B site, which seems to be the more direct call at the moment, because you can sort of section everything else off with utility, clear some of the close cubby corners, but that back site is always a difficult place to fight from. If they can clear that for free, it becomes incredibly easy for Optic to take this site.
I think Sassy might have tried to bait out the ult as well by putting that Prowler from so far back. You're not really going to get much information from that unless they decide to shoot it. But maybe they think you're in there and then come after you. Surviving on the back side. Decent holdout from Les. All his shields stripped and his health very low at this point. And he's got no support. With his teammates smoked out, he's just going to concede the site. This is the right call.
They managed to hold on to Hookah though. Sanak has almost managed to do that alone, aggressively pushing towards Marv just to make sure that he can't really use that ultimate or even try and bait him into using it. It also gives them a much freer rotation, although that flash hasn't gone to plan.
Not exactly, no. A little bump in the road. Plan secured for Optic, able to play post-plant. Orbital strike online, but while the numbers are thinning out, there's the orbital strike used. They're not quite able to damage the players on the way back out, resetting into duels. It's Pancada, Aspis, Sassy. They've got the numbers to take this, but in dangerous positions. The dropout handled by Aspis. A double for him, the nade catching the first. The rifle for the second. They will end up in a very good position, especially with post-plant orbital strike.
Yeah.
This round was looking a lot more scary than it ended up being.
But that's the thing. I feel like you could look at the scoreboard right now and you might be thinking, okay, Sadak not having the greatest of games, but in all honesty, the space he managed to take basically won them that round. Like, he pushes onto the brim to make sure that he can't have that position he wants for the orbital strike to try and clear the site or for after plant. He then holds onto it as well, forcing them to go all the way back around and fight through one avenue. And even on the way back through, even though he goes down, he makes sure that his teammates are still safe within that angle, not being pressured from anywhere else. So great work from him. Of course, there is still going to be a purchase. And you can see Marv may only have a pistol, but that's because Ye's got an operator.
That's the thing, right? And obviously he bought up the rifle previous round. They tried to bolster their buy that little bit extra. You'll take those, and you'll certainly take those. The operator for Ye dropping Pancada off the rip, and Marv has got a weapon should he wish to take it. Although I think the focus is a little bit more on taking the site. You've got those Seekers available, and, well, if they pop them, they'll find only Sassy here.
That's the thing. It will be so much valuable information. I think they're looking to try and get that little bit closer first on towards long, and the adaptation from Loud is just to have deeper control.
It's beautiful.
The problem is, there goes that info. Just one going in that direction, clearing out the back of the site for free, and actually Sassy, he's going to get one through the edge of the smoke. This lurk play could be huge from FNS, but he goes down as well.
A perfect haunt through, a good kill, and now Loud. Oh, they've got themselves another potential retake. Same position they found value in before.
What?
He tanks though. Oh, that's insane. The boom bot does damage, but not enough to kill. Les is alone, and even with a beautiful dropout, Ye has found value in a position that he was dead to rights.
That's the thing. I don't know how this man gets so much value with that headhunter. Like, him and Ardis just seem to have this ability to just destroy players even after that operator doesn't become any more valuable. And he basically just waits for that boom bot to connect onto him, and Sadak goes down as well. Again, we see the value of this superstar chamber. And unfortunately, on the other side of things, Loud, okay, they've got a couple of ults to play with. Maybe they can try and do something with the Viper's Pit, but the buy sucks.
I never, ever thought that was going to go his way. He was at 15 HP, and there must have been, he was like Neo in the Matrix. Bullets whizzing past him, but calm, cool, collected. Really push up inside of showers. Now, they're going to try to take the space, but Aspis has declined because he pushed around the smoke. I think he wanted to exec out of it. They could have put, I mean, they don't have flashes over here, right? Maybe a sky flash through the TP, something like that, but they have completely canceled any sort of aggressive plays. And again, we see this Prowler going out on mid from very far back. It almost makes me think they're clearing that the player hasn't crept up close. So that just shows you how much control Loud have given up for that early fight that got them nothing.
Well, yeah, it's something that Finesse loves to do is just those slow lurks through mid. And with the aggression on the other side, just trying to get a little bit of information off the back of those initiators. That's gone very poorly for Les. They know exactly where he is, and sure, he's going to do a little bit of damage as they make their way through, but this is looking calm and collected so far for Optic, and there's nobody even within the site anymore.
I do like the idea as well for Ye using his ultimate in this round. Nobody can pick up a weapon if they kill him, so you can see him playing a much more heavy lurk role.
They also lost the ult. They didn't manage to save it last round, so it's just almost a freebie.
Yeah, but of course he could go for a rifle, something like that, and save that ult for a more important round where your opponents have better weapons. But I like the call, really minimizing how much they can pick up, and now he can recover the weapon from his teammate Finesse, probably not wanting to carry the stinger he had picked up. And 4-1, this is looking as dominant as I think we expected. This map is a specialty for Optic, and with the pistol under their belt, you have to expect this early lead to go their way.
Yeah, they've beaten easily some of the best teams in the world at this map. FPX, FPX, we saw them beat Liquid earlier, Boom early in the tournament as well, Xset. Like, they have proven themselves as top two. I'll say that just for boast.
There you go.
He is in the room. We got Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Tom Holland in the audience, of course. very big Valorant fans.
As we know. So, all these ultimates online for Loud, one away on Sassy, everyone else has theirs. Viper's Pit. Now, when you look at Optic, I'm really curious to see how they deal with this pit. They've got a ton of utility that could grab them the information, but it looks like they don't want to challenge inside of it. No surprise there. Instead, they're going through the only other angle on this site, a choke point that is now being held
Sadak
constantly.
Needs to do well here. He has to. Now, the Tiger's going to give him the information. If they break this and just look to try and pressure him, it could become quite awkward, but instead, they do have the orb to try and slow them down, making sure any of these close angles. And look at the rotation, because they've taken deep hookah control straight away. They're looking to stack this A site up with 4 players. The problem is, Optic, after showing so much info on that side of the map, and now making a move all the way around.
And a good job, too. You just saw the Seize nade land. It would have been at their feet had it have come in 10, 15 seconds earlier. But Optic
got the read.
Shifting it over. They're adapting to the information that they've read, and now Loud are doing exactly the same. At the pace of this round for both teams, they're trying to figure out where the other one is at. But with Loud having this control, it's Pancada. He has his ultimate to play with. If he keeps hookah, this site will be very difficult for Optic to get into, and he's already shut down Marv. That's the control, theirs, and even a showstopper through. I mean, this looks like a death sentence for Optic. 15 seconds, 3 players on the site, and absolutely no way in.
Might just be worth holding on to the guns, and well, Les isn't going to allow that for Finesse at least. On the other side of things, Loud want to try and keep this as a boost to their economy, so probably not going to hunt down too much, knowing that there's a high likelihood that no matter what happens, Optic are going to be able to buy. But I am liking the sort of re-aggression and rotations we're starting to see from Loud. It hasn't worked in every single round, because I feel like it is almost that battle of the brains. The IGLs sort of try and pick their route back through, but this time they get it correct. And I actually want to see Optic challenge a little bit more for that hookah control, because I think that's where the crux of the matter is you've had now in one round Sadak deep within that control, being able to help them as they try and push into the site, and then in this round the exact same thing from Pancada again.
Or you'll see from some teams like playing inside of hookah, and then when they fall out, it's difficulty to get that player out of position. But you've had the retake wall in that previous round as well on B site from Viper. So you're playing inside of hookah, you get your fight, you fall back, and now the wall's up. So even the guys on long can't cover you crossing over. They've got to push through a Viper wall, and it just adds so much more pressure to Optic. That stopping power of a man and a Viper wall worked perfectly, and well, a showstopper as well. I mean, you can't really downplay that one, but we end up at 4-2. Loud, decently bought. Optic, though, they've drained the entire ult economy out of Loud in that previous round. They only have the orbital strike to work with now, and with a showstopper of their own to try an entry, hookah seems like a great place to have some control of. Again, it is only the one man that's leaning towards there, though, being Marved. He didn't do too well on the—
Oh, what? Okay, Pancada. Just a little bit of spam, predicting that they'd taken lock control, and well, I don't think you're going to get many kills like that throughout the match. They've also found out that Ye is on this side as well. And there is no commitment to the rest of the map for Optic, so I feel like they're almost stuck in a spot where either they take a huge risk and try and run back towards the A site, or they continue to commit, and they're going to try and go back and clear everything along the way.
Trailblazer just came through, though, and it didn't actually spot many players. If anything, I think it saw them and heard them running away. They're going to try to retake that control, and they've gotten one, but they have to account for the player up close. That Trailblazer was fired out by somebody. Sadak is still around the area. He's making his way through hookah. With 10 seconds left, if they can get an angle to stop it, it could be everything. And now they own hookah, a foothold to get back in, and holding over control of elbow. This is difficult now. Optic are split completely. FNS, I mean, he's alone. Victor's just been wall banged to death. A snake bite making it so much easier, and Finesse has to do it all time. Not really on his side with 3 players to take down, and Pancada has just had another fantastic round. This guy's been on fire so far.
Yeah, he's having a great tournament in general. Like, we've seen that throughout, where I think he's been like trading places for top 1, top 2 controllers. I think a few rougher games as well in there for Marved, but definitely towards the latter stages of the tournament, he's been great. But again, like it seemed like it was just going swimmingly, but just this reset coming out from Optic, falling all the way back and then going back into the site. The execution was great, but Pancada just able to hold on to some of the most critical angles as they look for that retake through hookah, and it just works out wonderfully for them.
I mean, it really is getting to the point, though, where Optic have got to be realizing that hookah control, they've found it so hard to gain control of it, and even in the previous, to hold control of it.
Yeah.
That part of the map seems to be Loud's, and well, the response from Optic isn't a heavier presence there, more aggression early round. Instead, they look again towards this A site, where Viper utility has constantly been a problem, but this time Viper's on B, so maybe a slightly easier way back through.
Yeah, already though. Molotov gonna delay. It's gonna have to be the rotation back through mid, because they currently don't have control over the showers. Mainly because there's still smokes denying them that space. The defense almost just waiting around the outside, but they are going to be able to make their way through. The problem is there could be an easy spam to try and deny anything for this plant, and actually they're going to do it instead with the blast packs.
Oh, wow. A double for Optic, though. They punished completely. And with this sneaky position, even able to creep his way into heaven if he wanted. There is a constant doubt in the back of Loud's mind. They need to find a safe spot to fight from, and I simply put, there were none. They need a duel right here and now. Time is ticking away with weaker weapons on the side of Optic, but a pit to play inside of. The spike down inside of it, there's not a whole lot that you can see going their way. Control's already too much for Optic, and they close this one out beautifully, only leaving less. 1 versus 3, and the players remaining on Optic have upgraded. They're back up to 3 rifles. They've got time, they've got utility still to pit up. It's done. Les is out of here, and a 5th has been found for Optic.
I'll be honest, I think Optic were almost expecting that this would be a round where, okay, let's see how far we can get. Maybe we use the Viper's Pit. Don't want to commit too much this round. I don't even think they full bought. They still had enough to buy into the next one.
Step by step.
Just the fact that they got so much space into middle for free. And that's the more surprising thing. Like, just making that move fairly early, almost disrespecting a lot of the utility on the other side after they initially, again, tried to challenge in towards the showers. And then I was also surprised that the pit wasn't one that actually allowed them to cross. But because there was no one watching that cross, they were able to just get that plant for free.
Yep, of course, you have the pit, you have the wall up to get you into that position in the first place. From the perspective of Loud, you're up against a completely weak buy. You know there's going to be some serious weaknesses in there. It makes sense to concede a small bit of control, but once that pit goes down and gives you the ability to play into their spawn, they have to freeze. The guy in spawn is no longer coming to help his teammates. He's staring at a pit, waiting for someone to emerge from it with a weaker weapon. Such a thorn in the side of Loud really being able to structure any form of retake. They'll call a timeout here, and as it comes to an end, we're going to need to see some big step-ups across the board. I mean, they've been doing a great job of holding on to Hookah, but anywhere else Optic seem to go, they're free, have free reign.
Yeah, they've been really pushing on the extremities. I think we have seen a round or two where Loud have sort of challenged in towards the showers, but other than that, yeah, I would love to see them try and take Long B away. The problem is most of the time you're going to have to face an entry duel versus Ye. And that's something we've seen many. I remember Demasic try to do that a couple of times in their game, and eventually his head gets blown off, so probably not worth the risk. Ult-wise, it's actually fairly bare, but Marv, we haven't seen him use it too proactively. Maybe expecting to try and use it in afterplant scenarios, but in all honesty, once they have got into the afterplant, they look pretty deadly.
Again, this Molly going over. We've seen different lineups coming through. One from short, this one right at the start of the round, catching anybody going back towards elbow. Optic are slow to move on the back of it, but a flash coming through, blinds them up, gets an orb online. Crashies now has his ult, and the Seekers, well, they seem to be soon on their way. Marv has lost this duel almost every time, and now he's being spotted, tagged up, and taken down. Another fantastic hold of Hookah, but how goes the sight? Because Crashies is already on there, spike in hand towards the elbow. The smoke not fully blocking them out. There could be an opportunity here, especially with the nade online.
And just going to have to try and play this one safe. Finesse in a decent position, but he's not going to find anything again. Hookah control just being the bane of their existence, and look how passively Les is holding. He's just playing this one nice and patient. This duel is going to be everything, and he's going to win it. It leaves Crashies alone. A man you'd want in these sort of scenarios, but can he pull off the 1v3?
He's been the clutch player in the past, but his HP already at half. 3 players, and it's the first to take him down. Les on the Viper, grabbing a 4th round here for Loud. And again, that Hookah control, it's always been something in this game that Loud have based the round off of. And we've seen that Trailblazer come through the TP a number of times. So far, though, I don't think it had any impact bar that round. It was like information that at times Optic even used against Loud in trying to sell false information. This time, though, it directly contributed to the kill.
Yeah, I am surprised, because I guess it's because they've so easily been able to get into the B site without too many problems. But in every single retake, they have struggled with the fact that they haven't been able to hold on to that control. So I do wonder if eventually Finesse is just going to say enough is enough, and they're just going to try and blitz their way through. And there are a few players setting up in that direction early in this round.
Again, this utility comes through, wall up, orb up. Whether you send someone with it or not, it doesn't really matter. It's about taking the info out of their hands. Again, we lose a player over towards Hookah. They try to double up and take it together, but Aspas is holding strong. They know for sure that Marv's is here. It's going to have to get those Crocs into sport mode again if they're going back towards the A site. Finesse has got a lot of space for them, but now a kill on B, and it kind of goes up in the air. They have a ton of options on where they take it, and in fact, they might almost just slow it down. See if Finesse can find anything from this spot.
They have to be aware of the potential of him doing this. Like, they were trying to deny this in earlier rounds, and Sadek did just straight away, like, okay, let's just use C, because we'll find out where these players are going to be, and they've spotted that they're rotating through. Even having less go back around just to make sure that they can't wrap through lamps, and just holding to make sure they have this crossfire. The only real danger is going to be Ye on the other side.
Seeker dove on Finesse. Caused a bit of a headache. Look at the push coming up from behind. Fantastic stuff from Ye. A great lurk. Space taken, and he's gone. He's down. The cover no longer there. They'll TP. They'll rotate, but Aspas has kept the control! Aspas alone wins this round for Loud. 4 kills. That is a round that Loud will be thrilled to have under their belt. Optic even calling a timeout off the back of it.
Yeah, as said, like in the games that we've seen from them in the last couple of events, they've been able to take 7 rounds as a minimum in the first half. It didn't matter whether they started on defense or attack. They've always looked incredible on this map, but Loud, they're rolling with the punches at the moment. And the thing is, they are adapting well. They are using that control they're able to get to take deeper positions. They're also using their ultimates incredibly well just to make sure they have that information. That's another round again where I'm looking at Sadek. Again, still at the bottom of the board, but he's able to find a crucial piece of information at the crucial time to make sure that they're not just going to be caught out by that lurk through from Finesse.
We're seeing that same energy from Loud that we saw when they had their huddle over on the stage, erupting as they take that round, and that really puts the win in your sails. I mean, it's one thing to win an important round and so on, but for one player like Aspas, you get in the right position, that puts the morale up to new levels. Now, Optic are pretty good no matter which side they're on. I don't expect an easy second half by any stretch of the imagination, but Loud have put up one hell of a fight so far.
But the other thing as well, to go back to the sort of talk about Aspas, I think this player in terms of like ACS, like you look to basically at the whole Loud team, there's like 20-30 difference between the entirety of the team. He is the X factor. When we've seen them have these super incredible runs at tournaments, normally he is right at the top of the helm. So if he can have a good matchup here, as it was mentioned on the desk, he normally does, that could be the difference between them making it through to the final or having to fight through that lower bracket.
Let's play. A fantastic face to Loud so far. Tied up at 5-5, the advantage still to be played for at halftime. Now, Loud have stacked up on B long. This is control you said you wanted to see them take, and so far, as we said, they've held Hookah flawlessly every round. After an Optic timeout, though, they shift their play completely.
They sent Ye. That's how you know they're taking things seriously. They sent El Diablo to clear it out, and this time, there's absolutely no one there. It's a complete role reversal. Maybe that's what Loud were actually expecting. Like, okay, we've had this control, they've had that control, let's try and switch it up. The only problem is it allows this tour de force to just run riot. If anybody peeks anywhere near this angle, they're in danger, and he's actually waiting to hold the rotations.
I think if you consider Hookah's being the danger place, you've got an orbital strike coming in here, you've got a timeout just called, like they're going to have an idea of how to take that back. Great adaptation from Loud, but now we've got to see how they handle not having this control. And for a second, I thought Sadek was about to jump up in there to check it, which I would have lost my mind. You got 2 info characters there. He dodged the flash. Oh, that could have been awkward if someone tried to swing with it. Luckily, they didn't. Oh, God. Victor's being destroyed. The showstopper online. It's, well, oh, wait. He's got 2. Not a chance he even got 1 there. I thought they're looking at him, but Finesse coming ahead. This is the round we needed to see from this guy. He's had a tough half so far, but we've equalized it up. 3v3, spike planted, post plans to be played with Ye, pressure from both sides. Another flash coming in, and Marv can't see a damn thing, but Finesse again! The 3rd kill of the round! He's going absolutely nuclear! What is that round from Finesse? This man came into this half. I didn't even think he had his monitor on, and now he's pulling out that. Wow.
Yeah, like that's another. We've seen a couple of those already throughout this map where it's a 3v5 for Optic to try and turn around. Gets the double spray down. The flashes in utility that were coming out, we saw Ye stuck in a seize, flashed up, and then Finesse just saves his life with a crazy peek, and then even catches the player behind him as well.
One kill.
He did.
He had 1 kill. He just coming into round 11.
That was Daddy's round. That's all we got to say.
8 times 5 missed kills. Wow.
He's well, Lester just managed to get
Viper's
Pit. Oh, he's just about gonna make it out of there. He's getting healed up as well, and they're gonna use the Viper's Pit as cover. Crashy's hoping maybe he can find something off the back of it, and actually that flash sort of faked out a rotation. You can see Sassy now moving all the way back, and the timing could be wonderful for Optic.
Yeah, it's because they had to fall back to get that heal, right? You don't want to stand inside the pit and a stray bullet takes you down while you're healing your guys, so they go back to elbow. They have to use a Trailblazer to confirm nobody was pushing up on it, about to take the control, and that then leaves them in this spot where A is almost like a retake, but still holding on to that crucial position of Showers. The rotation this time a little more cautious, making sure there's no one around them, but that might even play out as the fake or a disengage from an impending Doom duel. Instead, they reset, and with 45 seconds left on the clock, they need to make a decision on where to go, but they haven't really found a foothold anywhere.
Flash through. Crashies knowing that they still have control in this direction, and Optic, they've tried to play with the rotations, but ultimately they failed. This fight could be everything, and Sassy just about able to deny it. Also Pancada getting a couple of kills and doing so well off the back of his ultimate. It leaves it all on to Crashies. 20 seconds left. Chances looking impossible. The fact is he's got a rotation coming in from behind. He's going to get the TP timing almost perfect, though. That should at least allow him a plant, and maybe even the Seekers as well.
Yeah, he's got to be quick. If they got anywhere near this site, if a player had rotated 2 seconds earlier, it could be done. And indeed, it will be anyways. Loud tying it up at the halftime. This is a map that Optic are hailed as the kings of the world on, but Loud are challenging for that crown in the first half.
Well, they are incredible on that defensive side as well, so I don't think it's going to get any easier for the Brazilians, but let's see what the Des thought of that first half.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. It wasn't looking the best for Loud in the beginning, but maybe what a recovery towards the end there.
Yeah, Loud really came back. I think their game plan was being shut down in the first part of that game, but the recovery to make things even. And a big part of that was Auspice and his kind of step up on the Raze thus far in this map. This guy had a priority to hold space in hookah. He did a very good job at it, but just on the other side, the guy we've been building up so much throughout this tournament, Ye was looking fantastic, as he practically always does, providing a lot of value on that attacking side, be it with the up or with the rifle.
Yeah, and but in the beginning though, Bosto wasn't looking great for Loud.
No, especially this round. Even though they won it, I felt they gave Optic way too much control of Showers at the start, and then they had this idea of hookah crunching, but it all relies on this Les guy staying alive and being able to kind of contain the elbow push. Fortunately, he gets to 2-0 this round. However, in the next round and the round after that, they gave him way too much space. Viper ultis were going out, Raze ultis had so much space, and it was kind of really looking squeaky bum time for Loud there, but they managed to pull it through with their strong side, weak side. Strong side's getting that information with the Sky or the Fade and getting those rotations in.
It was just interesting in general, though, because they came with such a different plan from what you would expect. And it was Aspas a lot diving through that teleporter to get the retakes going in such an aggressive manner. And to me, I'm looking at Aspas on the other side of things as well. Look at, this is where Aspas gets his kills on the attack side against Zeta Division earlier in the tournament. You can't get those kills on B without double satcheling into a site. Those are not kills where you're just picking off players peeking from hookah. He's going to be satcheling in so deep, and in order to even set that up, you need to have already pushed Ye away. You're not just given hookah and B-long for free to go for big execs against a team as good as Optic. So it's so important that they push that star player off the line.
I think as we look ahead to this half, the priority will really be on those two initiators to be able to shut down Ye, move him away, and give Aspas those moments.
Yeah, especially that. Oh, actually, that was what I was going to say. So you're a genius here.
Whoa, you heard it here first. Mimi is a genius. I'm going to pass this over to two people. I don't know. Are they geniuses, Mitch and Tom?
Maybe.
I won't take that one, Tom. You know,
Bosa's never called me a genius.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that, but it is what it is. 6 to 6.
I miss Benkai. He was nice.
He was really nice. Well, he was nice to me. He kidnapped you that one time. But...
Yeah, no, forgive and forget, you know?
Oh,
forgive and forget.
That's very nice, Tom. Very nice of you. Optic have a 14-3 record coming in here. I mean, look, we've talked about it time and time again. We've mentioned the teams they've beaten, even at this tournament and in recent memory. Some of the best in the world. Absolutely. Moving in towards the B site quickly. Utility, look how much is coming their way. These players are stunned up and soon to be gunned up, but the Viper Wall, the TPs, have changed Loud's mind.
They're running all the way back. They basically have to. There's already 4 players on the other side, but the thing is, the 5th player they've left behind is the one you least want to run into. Yay, in an elevated angle, he gets to freebie onto the planter. It's not an angle you'd normally clear, but the fact is he's just delayed them so much. Even with a single kill, they've had to completely reset the plant, and the trades are going again in Optic's favor, or at least they were. Les has managed to turn it back! Oh, what a couple of headshots out from him! A pistol for Loud, but I don't know if they should have won that.
I don't think they should have. What a fantastic setup from Optic. They've got their TP back. Yay, delays, gets a kill, gets out for free. When he dies, he's traded ×2. And Les, he was just tapping away all round. Ending on 28 HP, had a teammate as well to back him up. That's a pistol for Loud, answering back to Optic's opening to the map. And that could give them the injection of rounds they need to get off to a flying start. Optic have not decided to go for a force buy. They're playing 5 classics. I suppose they're playing a headhunter on Ye, which with 4 bullets could get close. Luckily, the first doesn't land.
You know, he's only got 3 left.
Only kill half your team.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so worrying anymore. And actually, the entire team is rotating away from Ye, which I completely agree with as a sentiment. I think as though the delay that Crashies has been able to pull off actually allows the full team to rotate in towards this B site. They've left Ye behind to play solo. But if this isn't cleared properly, this could actually get pretty dangerous for Loud.
I'll say we don't have Aspas and Hookah, so he's not going to be like satcheling in, doing this crazy play, at least you'd imagine. Nade and Snakebite not landing for damage or kills, and they'll pump the brakes, but 50 seconds, stacked up classics, limited time to make a decision. This is a scary spot to be in. Look, classics on their own, you should be able to take them down, but when they have these crossfires, 4 players able to... 3 players able to swing at any time, that causes problems. The flash was good, the follow-up not there, with Sassy eliminating everyone on the B site. It's left in the hands of Ye.
Unfortunately, Marv was just a little too thick. That's all it really was. He had the extra C and he was spotted from behind. He's actually just headshot him through the wall. He's got no headhunter bullets left. It's fine. Thankfully, he used a few of them earlier and that made it less dangerous. Only a single player lost. Now going to be retrieving the extra weaponry and actually quite a heavy purchase into that previous round for Loud. So it's good that they don't lose anyone. Also the fact that Les already has a Viper's Pit online. One of the most deadly ultimates you can have going into a bonus round, because that Spectre very quickly becomes very dangerous.
The Viper's Pit, when you have the Stinger Inspectors as well, I mean, Les has gone for the Vandal, which, when we're talking about playing inside a pit, probably not the best weapon to have. Those Tracers can give you away. Optic's early plan, the flash down long confirms players here, destroy some utility, try to deny that free control they could be getting if these Prowlers went uncontested. But those smokes are coming down, and it looks like Loud are picking up the pace completely. They are rushing in, at least that's how it appeared. Losing out on any hookah control might change their mind a little bit.
I think also just the spam, just not allowing them to get through that choke point too quickly. Counter nade out. On the cross, actually, a shot connected by Pancada, but it's at the expense of Aspas. And they're still just trapped towards this position. Also, the deep hold that's there from Ye on the other side means they don't need to rotate. And Victor, double headshot. He's now looking to try and ace this out. Could even get the ult online if he manages to find that final man. And while the crowd wants him to go for this, although it seems he might get beaten to the punch. Never mind.
The chance is still on. The ace could be his. It's a 3v1 though. This isn't a moment for bravado. Close the round out any way you can. And it's with Victor on the floor.
The thing is, that's not bad expect from Pancada. He was in a horrible scenario, ends up taking 3 kills. He's going to get ever closer to having his orbital strike online, which is now only 1 away. They're coming in with a purchase on the other side, and okay, sure, you've got the showstopper, but there's not a lot that's actually going to help them out economically.
Very true. Yeah, look, the losses here will definitely be felt, those ripples coming into the next few rounds, and ultimately you're playing up against weaker weapons. So altogether, yes, they've recovered that nicely in the final seconds. That's why you don't see one guy running down to try get the ace. Unfortunately, sometimes you got to play for the team, play for the win. 1 round between them and Optic. Well, I see Finesse he's gone for a different weapon. It's not quite the rifle. And the Prowler has gone right past him.
Oh, no.
The judge.
Oh, he might have actually spotted him, and he's still going to get the kill. The judge giveth and the judge taketh away. That has gone as badly as it could have. Okay, Aspas is going to be a little low, but they should be able to get him healed up. Unfortunately, Sadak is on the other side of the map, and Crashy's going to go re-aggressive, but he loses the fight as well.
This man, if he stood a pixel or 2 further forward, that judge would have taken him down. And instead, he's ended up with 2 kills. A fantastic game Aspas is playing here today. Now the advantage for Loud. Let's see how they can close it out, or if Optic have got something up their sleeve. 3-man stacked up on A, hoping the rotation comes through. But Tom, we can see that spike and the rest of the team gravitating towards the B site. Looks like they might have a pretty easy time.
Heal up, squad.
It seems like they've basically committed to either just fighting this on the A side or maybe saving the weapons. The deep push is probably going to tell Optic a little bit late that
30 seconds left.
This is going to be a B play. For Loud, this is such a huge opportunity in this second half. Already looking to get up to 9 rounds, and as I said, I don't expect the Optic players to even rotate here. It's just not worth throwing the weapons away.
Yeah, it really is. Just too much of an investment already taking place, and Ye is getting decently close to his ulti. If there was a possibility that he could come out of this with a kill, that would be huge, but probably not worth even losing the weapon for. Whether he gets a choice or not is a different thing.
He looks like he disagrees, because he is pushing quite far forward, especially in comparison to the rest of the team. I guess, as you said, 1 kill and a death is actually an upgrade for Ye.
1 kill and survive, even better.
True.
If he gets an orb, he can drop his teammate a weapon, and all of a sudden, it's a full buy. You've got a showstopper there, and you've got Ye with a tour de force, which at this point, well, he's either going to have that Vandal, or he's going to have his ult next round. You probably just want him to survive. Make it a little harder so he doesn't have that ulti right off the bat. And we saw there, Aspas, 2 kills. The only 2 kills that came into play before that spike went down, Crashies and Finesse both taken down, and then he's healed to 100 HP and doing exactly what Sideshow was mentioning on the desk, blast packing out, taking the space, putting his life on the line for his teammates. I mean, the value that he has brought in the first half was tangible. Here, I think it goes even beyond what we see on our screens. I mean, this guy is the tip of the spear.
Yeah, the very different superstars, I guess you would say. Like, Victor is taking up that role on the other side, and then Ye is more just roaming, looking to try and catch you out as you get aggressive. This round, though, he's still going to have the rifle. Now, I assume that Ye's plan will just be to try and find a kill, and damn, this is aggressive from Optic on the other side of the map, pushing all the way through. It almost goes their way, but Loud will be able to stabilize. All 3 players gone. Ye again left on the other side of the map, but a single kill could turn this back.
This game has been neck and neck the whole way. This round could leave Optic with very little. So many of their players low on cash. Now Ye's going to have his ult next round, but he needs this clutch. Problem is, Orbital Strike, Viper's Pit, and a 1v3. Late rotation out of Pancada. He's got the spike. If he goes down here, this could be bad. The damage, though, it's huge. 48 HP left on Ye. Finesse on the B side. He's completely out of this for now. Has to be Ye to try and do something, and he's caught.
Last player standing.
Yeah, Finesse was taking his time to go and get a gun on the other side of the map. Had to make sure that he wasn't just facing into a lurker. And we saw him get a 4K earlier. This one would be so much more important, but Les doesn't even give him an opportunity. 10 rounds on the board. Bear in mind that it has been a streak of, what, at least 6 wins in a row for Optic on this map. They are now 3 rounds away from a deficit, and I am not surprised that they have taken a pause here.
No, this is definitely a moment to go back to the drawing board. You know, they've tried many different things, even in this round. The tempered aggression, it's not even that, just all-out aggression. 3 players swinging B long, looking for the duels, and all in the chaos, Loud came ahead. That seems to be how things have been going. Their defense was really just a staple of hookah control, but here they're showing so much more flexibility to work with. 3 rounds ahead and Optic have no cash.
Oh, it's a nothing fan. I'm sorry.
Poster, do you want to cast? Do you want to come up? Please, help. Sideshow could swing through. They won't even notice the difference.
That's true.
Unless you're like me.
We are the same person. I just run to the desk. You know? That's what I do. I just work harder than you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Listen.
The thing is, this round is going to be important not only because you will still have a weaker purchase for Optic as they attempt to try and get something done, but Tour de Force, Showstopper, Seekers, the other 2 ults not too far away, and some big ults on the other side as well, in the form of the Viper's Pit, Orbital Strike. Like, there is so much to play with in this round that even though the weaponry for Optic is weak, there is still a huge amount of potential that they could steal this one away. Yay alone is enough that there's potential they could steal this away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think in Ye's position, but he hasn't invested at all, so I'm assuming he's not keeping that ulti. He's going to be popped out here to try bridge the gap. And you've heard it there. They are so dead. Well, if they step into Ye's sight lines, they sure will be. Look at how cautious Loud are being, though. We've seen that in the previous round. 3 players were swinging out on B long, looking for those duels. This time, Pancada is basically in their spawn, jump spotting it. He won't even be caught by the flash.
On the other side of the map, though, Sadak has just walked through showers. So they have the information of where he's going to be. The main spots you're going to have are on the extremities, although he's going chasing all the way down towards their spawn, and then they've got the cheaper weaponry just hiding within the smoke. None of the bullets currently connecting, but they have been spotted, and eventually the spray comes through. Marv still does well to get 1 and a dink onto a second, and while Finesse, he's so close to taking a kill away, but they're just getting wiped out.
Yeah, look at the HP. 2 on Sassy, 29 on Pancada. If these fights go their way, maybe there's even 2 more players alive on Optic right now. They could have the advantage. Instead, it's Ye left to do it all, and with the weapon in his hands, he's not even going to... Okay, not going to take advantage of low HP players, I say. But he's just walked out, taking down 2 to the Headhunter. But he's gone. He's dealt with. It was looking possible, and when it's Ye in these spots, it always does. But at the end of the day, Loud push up to 11, and now Optic have their buy round. It's now or never.
How confident have you got to be in your Headhunter? That he could have just killed that second guy with the Tour de Force, but he's like, I'm going to go for the style points. Like,
he did see him get healed, right? But even still, you saw him get healed. You know, body shot's not going to take him down. You need the headshot or 2 bodies.
Yeah, it's just mad.
1 shot, just 1 click. He's like, yep, that is the headshot, and I will now look at the next guy. This is a round Optic need. They have ultis. They've got their economy fully put on the board. If they lose this, Loud guaranteed an OT with 5 chances to close. That just cannot happen.
They could get all 5 ults online for Loud in one of the most crucial rounds. I don't even think I saw a pixel there. Just a slight jump spot is enough for Les to go down. He's been one of the best performers so far for Loud, and finally an opening duel going in their favor, but it's so quickly traded out. On either side of the map, they're able to get a couple of kills, and now Crashy's looking to fight alongside them within Hookah.
He's left to 19, pops the Seekers, the panic in full effect. They both control now taken. As you can see, Victor following the Seekers down, and somehow that didn't get him. Luckily, he will follow back through and leave Sadak alone. The 1v3, unlikely. It's being watched by Ye, and even blind, he'll hit that shot. And much needed round for Optic connected. The game's back on.
That was so scrappy. We saw both sets of Seekers thrown out. We saw a Showstopper that, like, maybe it did a bit of damage, but genuinely looked like it did 0, which, you know, take that as you will.
That is insane.
Can we slow that down? I want to see what he connects. Like, it's just ridiculous, the shots that Ye is able to hit, even in the games that aren't necessarily going their way. Still, though, Mitch, 4 ults here, a perfect buy-up as well for Loud. It's not going to get any easier.
No, it definitely isn't. And we've seen this ult used over on Loud's side previously. Optic will do the same, taking control of Belong, holding it, and looking elsewhere. You would imagine Loud will be trying to grab some control to counter that, right? This is free information, free map control for Optic. But for now, they are pumping the brakes. I'm not sure what this signals on their side. They're expecting a push, perhaps. But with 1:12 left on the clock, we're starting to see the gravitation to B. Hookah controls being conceded completely. It wasn't somewhere Optic really wanted to fight for much on the attack. Makes sense, it's not somewhere they defend all that much either.
Well, the thing is, they've got Ye watching it at distance with an operator. Not going to be an easy kill. He switches to the Headhunter, and this time, well, it's not instantaneous. The thing is, they've thrown out that Nightfall, and they got nothing. They just got delayed through Hookah enough that that ult basically just found a tag. Okay, sure, it got rid of the Viper's Pit, but that wasn't worth the trade.
And this has allowed Optic to reset completely, even healing Ye up, getting him on an angle. They had an orb up to block any sort of a peek coming out of Hookah, so he was free to hold long the entire time.
30 seconds left.
Looking over at this site, getting onto it doesn't seem difficult. Getting the spike planted will be 20 seconds left on the clock. Orbital strike online for Marv, the nade coming through from Victor. They are denied the control for now, and as they step back in, you can see the ulti in hand. It's going down from above! Marv has taken the kills, and with that, probably the round. They need a plant right now, and it will be denied. 4 seconds as they fall. Crashies closing the round, and Optic are hot on Loud's heels.
That was just fantastic ult usage all the way through the round from Optic. Like, that setup, I don't think you could have got much better. You had the Viper's Pit almost baiting them into pushing into Ye. Man's not going to miss the shot. And then on the other side of things, you were just ready to plant deny. Even if it was earlier in the round, you still bought enough time for that rotation to come all the way back through and have those separate peaks with the denial utility. That was an expert round from Optic, and we are starting to see those ultimates diminish. Like, that was a showstopper and a Nightfall used in that previous round, which ultimately garnered Loud nothing.
And now look what they're working with. Next to nothing on the attack. Victor up top here. He's in a little bit of danger. Nade's going to be deployed. The Prowler hitting him and everything. Marv turning at the wrong moment. That's crucial control removed. A weapon upgrade and a sight in Loud's hands. They've got a Viper's Pit, Tom. They can put this down, and the round all of a sudden starts to look favored towards them. They're healing up as well. But no, this Viper's Pit is not on the site. It's in their spawn. Loud are looking to take the fight to Optic or force them to waterfall out of heaven, which is often to certain death. But for now, no one's watching it.
The thing is, though, is to play from distance is not going to be particularly easy for the remaining players. They can get towards that spike, almost wrapping around the Viper's Pit. So this really could be problematic for Loud, that they might almost have to start playing out of it in a matter of seconds. The orbital strike is going to buy them that time. They expected this to happen, but the trades are coming through once again. I think they even have the Seekers one more time as they start to win every single battle. It's left onto Pancada. He has delayed them a little bit. The shot connected eventually, and I think the time is gone. He might have just done it off of that alone. Loud will delay just enough, and Optic just couldn't get on the spike.
What a ludicrous round. That is not one that you will have planned for. You won't have seen that in Prax. I mean, that was madness, pure chaos harnessed by Loud to get onto the site. To find, like, even the distraction play around middle as the duel was coming in, that's when you have the swing coming through as Pancada takes the fight, takes the control. Gorgeous work. 3 chances now for Loud to close out a map that even the best in the world have failed to do up against Optic.
It's not a death sentence, but it is a statement. To come in, to bind a map that even in the past they haven't been able to beat them on, and look to take the lead in the series that could send them to the grand final. Still, the weaponry, not the best for Loud. It's still a better purchase for Optic just because of the cost of the previous. And 3 rounds in a row for Optic, well, we've seen them do it a million times.
We have. No, it's certainly not over. And with an initial tag, taking Sadik. He's at 14 HP. He can't get healed. No one on this team can help him out. Now he's pure support. 1 flash to work with. Trailblazer already used. Dedicated spike carrier. That's his role from now on. 50 seconds on the clock. They're looking for B. And look at Optic's setup. I mean, it is gorgeous. They've got a wall. They've got a Sky to flash through that wall. Potential retake coming in from Victor, who still has his nade online. And then we mentioned Ye, who we saw at the start of the round holding this angle. He hasn't moved ever since.
It seems like they're almost waiting for them to make this move. It looks like a trap, and Sadak, he's so desperately low. He's going to go down straight away. The orb sections the remaining players apart, and the spike is down on the site. 20 seconds left. You might even just have to hold on to the weapons, especially now. Pancada on just 3 HP. There's nothing that Loud can do in this round. Again, they've waltzed into the trap that Optic has set, and double digits will be held.
Well, Victor may be a Chad, but he was looking like a beta raise right there. 2 nades thrown in 5 seconds. This guy was just lobbing them out. Nothing Loud can do, diving through a Viper's orb, into a nade, into bullets, into another nade. Round was done before it even got started. A great response from Optic. And they didn't even need Ye. He was an alarm bot, essentially a Cypher cam for that round. And well, he's been so much more the rest of the time. Now the crowd getting behind Optic, the chance coming through for them to push us to an OT. 2 more rounds, and look at Loud. They're putting it all on the board here. All their investment will come down to this, and that's why they call a timeout. You do not want to just blaze into this round and end up throwing away your chance to close it.
Yeah, the funny thing is with the weaponry bought by Aspas, I think that is exactly what he's going to do. Blaze into the round, try and take as much space as humanly possible. Unfortunately for them, it's not even like they can, okay, let's work the orbs, get ourselves a certain ult online that might give us some extra space. So, there are actually no ults online throughout the entirety of the server at the moment. And to try and clear out some of these positions is going to be difficult. Now, one of the ways they managed to really punish Marved in one of the earlier rounds was that Sadak got past his Molotov. That was the only reason that he sort of caught him out in towards showers a couple of rounds ago. I think that's something that's going to be quite a bit more difficult this time. So maybe they're just going to go for that aggressive pressure instead, try and force him out of position. That takes away a lot of the delay utility, especially when it comes to this A site. The thing is, though, it seems like Optic have a pretty decent read that in lower economy rounds, in weaker rounds, a lot of the time you're going to want to try and pressure into this A site because a lot more favorable angles, a lot more space to take.
That's what we've seen so far now. As we come out of this timeout, take a look at where Loud are standing. I mean, there's only going to be a couple seconds on the clock. I don't imagine they'll be rotating all the way around, and I'm seeing blast pack in, flash from the sky. There it is. It's on its way. It's popping. And with a blast pack, Aspas is already up close. Now the molly goes down. The control is theirs. They can grab an orb, but that is the trade that Optic are willing to make. You can have your control and your orb. We'll keep on ranged fights.
Well, that's the thing as well. Optic already have hookah control and deep B long control. So they're not going to be rotating anybody off any of their angles on the A site until it is ultimately pressured, and that's going to be Pancada's job. If he kills Finesse, there's a pretty decent chance that Optic's setup completely falls apart. Instead, though, they're taking their time, just hoping that someone on the other side of things over-aggresses, and at the moment, with this double stack into mid, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, very disciplined play from Optic. They know where their point of contact is, and outside of that, everyone else is spotting their angle, holding for extra information, but ultimately waiting for these guys on mid to get the fight, and it looks like it's coming their way. 40 seconds on the clock. No ultis for Loud, but still a flash to play with here for Sadak. They'll assume there's a player holding this angle, whether they decide to fully commit. There's the flash. Okay, they've seen him up top. He turns! I thought that was on. I thought it was a kill. It was damn close. Still Loud get to take a few steps closer. They've lost a player, and then they've recovered. What are those fights for Sadak with a double kill? Optic are now having to play
Oh! It's almost a couple of kills coming through, but they just wipe out the remaining players. A faster play in towards that mid push, and the battles being won by Sadak and Pancada. Loud are going to take themselves bind. I think that was something that most, including myself, thought was an impossibility. And the terrifying prospect for Optic is, you look at the next 2 maps, Ascent, probably the best map of Loud, and Breeze, one they smashed them on earlier in the tournament with an 11-1 defensive half. This is now, well, what seems like a landslide first map in terms of the fact that you now have to climb that mountain once again.
It's a crazy thing to imagine. I mean, Optic have rarely come into this map and had more than 1 or 2 rounds versus a team where they look a little confused, where they're caught off guard, and they have to call those pauses and say, okay, but they figure it out afterwards. That's always been the difference. Right here, Loud kept them on their toes. They had so many ideas of where they wanted to take things, and besting Optic on bind, I agree with what you said earlier. It's not a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination. This was a close game, 13-10. Ye still performed. The reality is, though, this map was guaranteed for Optic, and now the series is wide open for Loud to take it on one of the next 2.
Yeah, they've done this before in the upper bracket of an international event, just been able to make their way through into that final, and then we saw Optic return to prevalence. The question will be, can Optic now do that within this series? They are not a bad Ascent team, but at previous events, they've lost to Loud. They lost to Exet earlier in a close series, and now they're going to have to step up and show why they are a team that always makes it to the top 3, why they are a team that's widely considered the best team in the world right now. It's an uphill battle for Optic, but it's a fun one.
It absolutely is. And looking at Optic's spot, I mean, they are now moving on to that map of Ascent. with their upper bracket life on the line. I mean, that is not somewhere that they expected to be at coming into today, and we'll find out if they've got what it takes to bring us all the way to a map 3, or if Brazil is going to be locking in that spot in the grand finals convincingly. For now, though, we're going to go to a break.
Red Bull Campus Clutch is back. Assemble your team and lead it to the World Final. Register now for your national qualifier.
What a start for Loud. They become the third team internationally to be able to take down Optic Unbind. I'm Yingsu and I'm back here joined by Mimi, Boaster and a Sideshow. And Mimi, what a record that is for Loud and also Optic. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, for Optic here, they've only ever lost this map internationally to tournament winners in the past. And for Loud, they really came out here and were looking like they could be a tournament winner. On this map, I think they came in very well prepared for the way that Optic likes to play this composition when they're on bind. Obviously, they've shown this map quite a lot before, and while I think some of the ideas weren't quite functioning in that first half, once we switched over and got an opportunity to see Loud over on that attacking side, they really were able to stay on top of that adaptation.
I mean, look, Optic won 0 retakes there. Every single post plant working well from Loud. And on top of that, in terms of when both teams had guns in hands, Optic won 5 out of 13 of those rounds. I thought that might be a bit of a problem for them coming into this game because there's such a mad discrepancy just in champs in general. Optic have somehow got to this point winning less than half of their gun rounds, which is mad.
All right, so let's start off this round here. Obviously, FNS dodges both the dog and the boombot. Aspas takes him out, and then he just freeze and hold the call from Sardak there. They punish the push, 5v3, win that round. And this round was called here because Victor and Crashies were one off orb. However, Loud had like 2 ultimates that were quite crucial, so FNS went for the call for the long push, and they kind of got both calls were like FNS was trying to punish the ultimate, whereas Loud were trying to punish the one off the orb. And then what happened was they ended up just clashing into each other, not kind of understanding what the other IGL was going to call, and that was a big round, I thought.
The crazy part about that too is those swing the economy completely, because that's that final one that we showed. FNS bought into it with only a frenzy full armor, so they were full committing to that plan, and it did not work out, and it just swung the game totally in the other direction.
Yeah, and it was a very close game to end up with as well. After the timeouts, we saw 2. But I mean, both of these top fraggers on each side too, Mimi. I mean, Ye just had a great game as always.
Yeah, he always does. This is one of his absolute best maps. But the player that I was fixated on for the side of Loud really was Less. I think on that attacking side, he had some really impactful, slower rounds where not only he was being that great trade player, kind of second entry to help out with Auspice, but also having a few quite impactful lurks to be able to close. I think thus far for Loud, this has been the tournament of step-ups for Less, and this map was no different.
Yeah, and speaking of Less, let's take a look at this 4K he managed to pull off in the Verizon high-speed moment of the match. And Saisho, what a moment this was.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to win the pistol round here because it puts all of that pressure onto Optic, unless he's left in a 1v2 after the trading kind of gets a bit funky. Or I guess a 2v2 there, but he does all of the work. Unless just popped off.
And as an IGL, I always think it's lovely when you win the pistol round because you can really start building that economy and kind of getting the kind of momentum and the snowball kind of going. So yeah, getting that kill, especially in that fashion as well, really shutting down those Optic players, showing some real nice individual plays. Surely that's going to bolster your other teammates. Fist bumps will be flying. And yeah, win that eco. Please win that eco, and then bonus round should be yours as well.
Yeah, the momentum was on the side of Loud in the end, but Optic, they gave it a good go thanks to Ye. Here he is in the aim lab shoot around, and if it's anybody that can pull Optic out of a bad position, Mimi, over and over again, it feels like it's Ye.
Yeah, it always is this guy to step up and pull them out of these kind of tough moments, and for him, he's been really good, at least to start on that map, but I think that for Loud, they did a very nice job of being able to shut him down and keep him from having those repeated heavy impact rounds on the defensive side with their initiator utility, which meant you were having a lot of those just good trade moments where you get Auspice in quickly and Less is there to back up.
Yeah, to me, it's not even about shutting down Ye, actually. It's that other players stepped up, too. Ye's still 5-1 in first kills to first deaths. That's absurd. But on the other side of things, Aspas, 3-1. Pancada, 5-2. Like, if the rest of the team from Loud is stepping up to Ye's level, Ye's just one guy. You can't do everything for them. And Loud have now won on the map that we were all essentially counting them out of. I said it was a free roll map for them, and they came up good.
I was really happy watching Loud's attack side. Honestly, with the executes, when they were coming in, they came in brute force, utility flying, and trades were going out as well. You know, like they had Victor in, we call it get right, which is close right on A.
You call it cubby, I think.
Yeah, in the cubby. Everyone else will call it cubby, but we've got weird call-outs. But what I'm saying is Victor there was isolated. He was only able to get one before instantly getting traded. And then that was when all the other soldiers were coming in, like trading out the end. Trading out towards the backside as well. What am I saying?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're supporting Loud right now, so you're probably getting a little bit overexcited as we head to the next map. The question is, Saisho, can Loud keep this up?
Yeah, definitely they can. Ascent is already an area where they're favored, I think. Their defense side is absolutely bonkers on Ascent. Their attack side, not so much. And listen, Optic's good here, but the first map was the one that they're the most, or rather the least favored on. Heading into the next two, they're odds on. It's slim, the advantage they have, I think, because we've seen Optic be good in both of these maps, but specifically on Ascent, it should be a great matchup where Loud have all the momentum.
Yeah, and when I was kind of thinking about the matchup, I honestly thought Optic won a 2-0 here. They want to win Bind, they want to win out Ascent. Definitely. Looking at what I thought what the comps are, I don't actually know what the comps they're choosing yet, but what I know that they do, they have that triple initiator comp, and against Loud, they run the same comp as us with the Killjoy and the Omen. So if they keep up that tradition, I think the triple initiator comp really kind of slightly has a higher win rate on that one.
We're heading to the agent, the Prime Gaming agent select here even. And Mimi, you know, what do you like to see from both of these teams?
I think what I'm looking for, in particular on the side of Optic, because it does look like they'll return to this triple initiator comp, is Marved. I think people have critiqued him a little bit this tournament. He's been a consistently world-class controller and maybe hasn't quite hit that mark at this tournament. But in map number one, he really was performing, and particularly on the defense of the Ascent, when he's playing this Astra, it's one of his most comfortable roles where he has that consistent performance as an anchor on that A side.
You also get great value from Crashies every time he plays on Ascent. I feel like it's a great map for him, but you're coming into this first half and you've got to punish Loud. The way that Loud play on their attack side, it's very execute heavy. They don't work the map as much as some other teams. If you can stop them getting rounds here, you set yourself up much better for the next half.
And I think it's really important for Loud here to actually take that mid control. If they have a good mid default and are able to kind of push Chamber off, push the A off that kind of close angle, then because there's no trip, there's no info utility, they should be able to kind of work that B split, work that A split, you know, really kind of send out some fakes, and Optic will be left kind of running around in CT spot not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, and that job largely falls on Optimus. He's normally that guy who's clearing off of his Sova drone to take space in mid and set them up for some of those heavier split executes that they like to do. These two teams are familiar. They've played against each other on Ascent before. This one should be really close.
Yeah, it should be a close one for sure. But Optic, they have to win this map if they want a chance to go straight into that grand finals. Mitch and Tom, let's see if they can.
Well, the final hope of North America needs 2 maps in a row to continue on, and they will be jumping down to that lower and be in a little bit of danger. I mean, this has already been a surprising result to start it off. Coming into this map, I think we both thought Loud have got to be the favorites. You still sticking with that now?
But look, Mitch, Optic, they have gone to 3 maps in every single series in this tournament so far. So if anybody can fight back from this moment, it is going to be them. I will say they have to have a good first half, though, because Loud on the defensive stats are ridiculous. Over the last 3 games they've played, they are 21 in 3 in defensive rounds. Like, that is an absurd statistics. Now, obviously, in a lot of cases, they've still had good attacks, but that's still like 6-0, 7-1, like 8-2 defensive halves. So you need to start off strong if you're Optic, otherwise it's going to get tougher when you go into that second half.
The last pistol round we saw, it looked like Optic were going to win both of them, but we had less. A hero stepping up with 4 fantastic kills. It was the high-speed moment over in the break, and now as barriers go up, we're going to see Loud on the attack. Less playing the Killjoy for now, and the turret clearing out mid. They'll quickly take the space on the back of it, moving up through market. Good kill onto Ye already, and with the control now taken, the utility out of play, it looks like a complete hard retake.
What He's a madman. Absolute madman, but the flash is even better. Even still, though, Sadak and Pancada managed to come up big. It's going to be left all on to Crash. He's not pretty on the first, but he still manages to get the kill.
Even dodged the paranoia as well. Here's the steps coming behind him. Isolates 1 duel, but he can't keep it for too long. 3 kills for Pancada in this as Loud pick up the pistol. Said it's important for Optic to start strong, but it looks like they're going to have a buffer of a few rounds before that's a possibility.
Yeah, and I just like the sheer pace of which Loud are already coming into this map. You can see the strength that they have even just by the stats of them on Ascent. Although, there's at least the silver lining for Optic that they were the one team to beat them.
That is true. That is true. I mean, you look back actually for Optic, I feel like this map, it's not somewhere that I look at and think, well, they're playing this so that they're at a disadvantage immediately. It's just more so Loud are so strong here. But that also means there's a lot of VOD, a lot of tape out there on how they like to play. And you know how difficult rematches can be. We've seen this one happen again and again. Over on Loud side, this attack sees quite a bit of space. They're only up against classics. The Headhunter in play as well. The utility through reveals, getting not too much with the door closed. That flash expected, waited for, and shut down completely. Well handled by Loud. They looked in control from the get-go.
Yeah, and Aspas not that far away from getting the knives online as well, which, especially going into the bonus, would be very helpful if he's able to. Even still, though, this is where things should get a little bit more interesting for Optic. They're going to have the rifles, every single player. I think Shield's only missing for Ye. Utility not looking too bad either. The question will be, what sort of ideas the Loud have here? Sure, they've got a few rifles coming in themselves, playing that sort of extended bonus round with some extra weaponry, and by the looks of things, they want an early challenge into mid.
You can see the arrow wiggling as Sassy was waiting to swing through and fire it. The reveal clears close. With a smoke down, there could be a player sneaking up inside of it, but I think the reveal was there just as it bloomed, so it should be clear enough on that info. Unfortunately, Sassy then found out there's a player on short the hard way.
Well, they sort of forced back one player in the form of Victor, but Ye stuck around. And after that opener, you can just see how passive this setup becomes from Optic. They put themselves into a solid position. It looks like Aspas is just going to dive into the site again, though. The same as the previous round. This time it's being watched for by Marv. He doesn't connect the initial shot, though.
Paranoia didn't land on him. He's still good to fight. As Sadak goes down, utility on its way to clear Marved out, but Ye is holding strong. Kill after kill going his way, and with finesse landing one through the smoke, that round goes convincingly into Optic's hands. I mean, Marv surviving like he did, dodging the paranoia and being able to cut off Sadak, stopping any extra utility from making its way to the site, and, well, Ye just had free reign from that point while they were focused on Jenny.
That's the thing I really like with Marv. Is I feel like he truly is that controller specialist.
Yes.
Like, seeing him on Breach, KO, I've not really had anywhere near the same enjoyment, but you give him the utility to play around, and he truly is that superstar. He truly is the person you even put in the conversation with Ye.
You know, I mentioned that last time these guys played over on Pearl, when I was doing the Telestrator, I said that it was Ye was 1-0 in opening duels. Marv was 6-1. Yeah. And it's so often that Ye will be there trying to get the early duel, falling back, and then Marv plays these nasty angles, able to capitalize off the gaps in spacing. Right here, you see that face to Ye, the aggressive early duel. It works out, and he doesn't even need his TP to get out of there, sitting comfortably with a man advantage now on Optic.
Yeah, the thing is, that's their lurk down as well. Les is normally looking to try and hold on to one half of the map while they pressure elsewhere. This means that Loud have to be a lot more careful of all of these aggressive positions that could have been taken, and a lot of the time are taken by players like Ye. Falling back into what looks like an A setup, and in fact, there's still 3 players within B, so maybe a slight misread here. Victor, I don't know if his spot was actually checked whatsoever, and they're still holding on to this short fleet.
They definitely noticed Victor when the drone came around. They've caught Marv, though, taking down the first man that they saw. The spams coming back find nothing as the plant comes in. Loud regained the advantage, and with the ult online, Sadik is going to stop any heavy utility retakes. It could mean that Optic run the clock down a bit more and wait for it to be gone, but then they'll have such limited time on that clock to get in. They really need to force some fights without the utility, and, well, dry swinging into the angles isn't always the best approach, with kill after kill going Loud's way. They're still going for it. They're still
Victor!
pushing through, and Victor's got 2. Pancata stuck below. A good kill, but he needs to survive. Up close now, Crashies could get him, but the TP, he's got into wine. He's buying time, and he won't cancel. Instead, he'll use this position to deny the defuse. Shoulder peeking and hitting the shot. The round is saved by Pancata with a Red Bull clutch. 3 rounds for Loud.
Oh, there were 2 shock darts, I believe, on Crashies. You just, if he fires one of those in, he basically wins the round, probably not realizing how low Pancata was on the other side. This from Victor, though, was just absurd. And I think he actually dinks up the final player as well, almost solo retaking versus the entirety of Loud. The problem now is what's left on the other side. Weaponry in the bin. Okay, 1 off the tour de force for Ye could be a game changer. The fact is, what orb do they challenge for if they challenge for 1 at all?
Well, it certainly looks like B main is under the control of Loud. They're not going to be giving anything away. And Ye, sitting passively on the A side, will just be headhunting this round. Again, if he goes...
He's done so much damage! 2 shock darts back to back, and the entirety of the team, bar Pancata, is actually tagged. Also with delay utility as well, going through this would have its risks, especially now there's 4 players here and a 5th rotating in.
Oh, this is a bad read. Loud are walking right into the trap. They find the first. The spam is good, and the follow-up there. The weaker weapons really a saving grace for the attacker side. Not up against the heavy weaponry they could have been. Some kills still coming back for Optic, the round yet to be decided. And it's Marv sitting on the site, Spectre in hand. They know about Victor. He's an accounted for property. Marv might be able to catch them by surprise, but he's being spotted, and with that, the round seems to be over. 18 health left as he swings into heavy traffic. It will be Brazil taking an extra round, and the lead becoming more and more exaggerated. Optic have got to start sweating at this point.
As said, like, when it comes to the defensive side for Loud, they're phenomenal. So going in with a deficit would just be an absolute nightmare, and you're going to see Optic taking themselves a pause. Now, they come in, tour de force, rifles. You've also got the null command. Like, in terms of ultimates and in terms of sheer firepower, they are going to be favored going into this one. But the problem I have, Mitch, is I feel like Loud are already in a okay spot if they were to go into the second half like this. So now they can be a little bit more creative with a lot of the ideas they have. The only difference is that I think when we saw against Liquid, Optic managed to put up a really heavy attack inside, but that is also up against the Phoenix.
We do love those comps. We do
Not the
love
best
those
on
comps.
the defense.
No, well, you know, it depends how you use it, but yeah, you know, we have to agree there. 20 seconds on this timer, and Optic must be deep in discussion. Chet's been thinking in the background all these rounds, observing, seeing the flaws. For Loud, though, I mean, I'm not even sure they need to worry too much. They don't need to change too much. They've been looking fantastic. I will say Victor, the 2 kills that he has were incredible. The flash through the smoke, I thought that 2v4, they were not going for it. Like, there's no way that they go in for this. And then the flash, the double kill right off the bat, it looked incredible.
Yeah, we could be in a very different spot right now.
Really
if he manages to just hit one more shot to the body, if a shock dart, as said, goes in, it could have been a completely different round. But the fact is, Pancada currently at the top of the board, 8-1 on that Omen. He's been incredible, as said, throughout this tournament. One of the best controllers we have in the world scene. Some early information going to be taken. Ye is just walking it. We spoke about this man. The desk said that he can't put everything on his shoulders, but in this round, it looks like he's trying.
He's only died once so far, Pancada. This could be the second. The jump spot shallow each time. If he goes out that little bit wider, there's no telling whether Ye hits the shot or not. In fact, I'd say he probably does, knowing that it's Ye. And that's why they're being so cautious, so careful about giving away these advantages. Smokes haven't yet been thrown out and bloomed on mid. They're waiting for a late round take. There's the smoke. There's the peek. And now they'll try to punish from the connector, but he's already made it away.
Interesting spot. They're actually holding deep towards A in case there's any level of aggression. But it's a very, very passive hold. Other than Ye pushing and probing, everybody else is sat back on the map. This position, though, from Les might actually catch him off guard as the rest look to pressure in towards A.
This could be huge. Again, Victor in position, but he's not going to be able to pop a flash out of the smokes this time. Fully suppressed. Here we go, though. As it resets, he can potentially try to reinitiate some of these fights. They've caught Ye on the lurk through. We saw Les get caught by him in B main previously. Now, victory is his, and it could be Loud's as well, as every single kill seems to go their way. Only losing Sadik, and for the control they got, that is worthwhile. Crashies alone, credits in the bin. 4.2k on Ye, nobody else can afford to buy. You wouldn't blame him if he saved, but even then, what are you saving for? And the economy for Loud's going to get out of control.
Yeah, I just bringing something into the next round, I guess. A hero rifle. Again, though, just so impressive from Loud on those takes. The fact is, initially they get hit. I think by the KO9, 4 of the players, as they look to try an entry in, they're a little bit patient as they look to make their move. And then you just see, as the utility comes back online, the spams take Victor almost all the way down. And even then, the flashes that come through on the other side just leave him completely blinded. Clearing out that site looked way too easy. And okay, Les has gone down right at the end, but as you mentioned, financially it's meaningless, and they're going to go running to try and take this gun away.
You can't understate the importance of taking down Ye in those early rounds. Crashy's not surviving this. Wrecks their economy completely. I mean, they had a potential hero rifle to be saved. Instead, well, you can see potentially Ye. Okay, he's going in for the open light shields. So that's going to be the hero of the round. That needs to be something that pulls them through. But I can't agree with you anymore, Tom. That push that came through on the A side, it just looked too easy. When you've got the numbers there, when, again, you're able to pop your flashes and so on, but it seems like Loud are expecting that. They know, okay, KO was there, smoke is there, now he's able to flash. Let's just spam around the smoke. Oh, look, he's basically dead already. A frustrating round if you're Optic, though, because it feels like they set up for their plan and then never got to actually execute it.
Again, a patient default. Les, well, his impact of taking down Ye in the previous round can't be understated, almost seeming to have a hard read on what he was wanting to do, and almost forces Optic to play slightly more passively until they've actually cleared this man out of position. In the early round, you're going to have this double spot towards short, like basically the anti-flash being played by Victor and the angle being held by Ye. They've got the right read on where this is going. It's whether they can stop them.
This could be so dangerous. It's not the first man or the second. It's the operator of Ye that I'm worried about. He's blinded up, though. A fantastic paranoia. Crashies could be a hero here to step in and do some damage, but only the one. The Sheriff, not the gun that you want. And the lead extends even further in the Brazilians' favor as Loud are now 6-1 in the lead. Guaranteed, worst case scenario, an equal half. And knowing how strong they are on the defense with this being their map pick and having taken a title off of Optic for Bind. I mean, the last time that Optic lost, and I mean let me say the last time the players on Optic lost, because they weren't even Optic at the time, it was last year at Champs up against Ascend. Like, they don't lose that map, and when they do, it's to the best teams in the world. Like, for Loud to have that already and now such a strong lead, I mean, we need to see Optic put rounds on the board now.
Yeah, operator and VA again. They've been able to counter him in most rounds so far. The utility out, especially from Sadak, the flashes that we're seeing combined with Pancada's paranoia. Marv now looking to get a little bit aggressive as well. They haven't seen anything, but instead the pressure has been going in onto mid. Shock Dart, again, like Crashies has been at least chipping away at a couple of these players, and he's really caught Sadak. The spam through the wall will get them the opener. The question is, can they convert it? And they need to.
That is such a unique early duel. I mean, especially with the shock darts, they seem magnetized to his feet, just landing perfectly on him. Sadak did not have a nice time. And, you know, Aspis has stood here, of course, rightfully so, waiting for a repeak, waiting for something else, and it never comes through. They've pressured A again and again. Optic stay heavy on A, heavy on Wine. They even take Sassy down there, but the objective of this round is to take the B site. The thing is, with limited numbers now, they cannot afford to even end up in trades moving onto the site. They need to be convincing in these duels, and they've been slowed down completely, pushed out of mid. There's only 25 seconds left.
Yeah, they're trying to bait it, but this rotation back is going to be impossible. You've got Marved already playing deep. They're going to have to try and switch this up again. They look like they've got a little bit lost in those rotations. Not the prettiest of fights for less either, and now the remaining two. I don't even know if they had time to get to the site. They definitely don't now. For absolutely nothing for Optic to a Prime Gaming flawless just moments later. They have at least taken their second round, but Mitch, they need so much more.
They really do. That was a fantastic attempt by Loud, by the way. So you have this attempted push and almost fake on the A side. They move to B, they look to go, but then there's so much meeting them on the B side that they have two players run back down on mid. That was Pancada and Aspis. They rushed mid, they run up short, they're stampeding. They're letting them know, we're coming back, we're faking it again. And then that's when they try to take the space with less, walking through the smoke to catch them on rotations. The panic on A of, oh, they're coming back, I need help. Everyone moves out of position. Les gets in with a great flank. Unfortunately, that reality isn't the one we live in. They've just been shut down. But fortunately, if you're a North American fan, because that was a round Optic needed, they would have been out of cash completely, and Loud would have ran away with this half. Instead, it's still up for grabs, at least to equalize.
Look, they're using the Killjoy ult just to get rid of that Hunter's Fury. In the meantime, they're looking to pressure on the other side, and Aspas actually gets away with that. Now you have the Hunter's Fury to try and take him down. Marv has nowhere to go. It's a double early opener, but at least there is a trade, a little bit more searched for by Ye. And actually, he's going to get a second Pancada forced out into the open. Brings it back into a 3 versus 3.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just tanked it. It was only a Nightfall coming, but instead ends up going down, trying to evade it. Save some extra info. Great lurk again from Les. This guy has been unaccounted for in a number of rounds, and the value found almost every time. Finesse trying to break the door, almost meets his demise. That fight could be everything, and with Finesse down, Ye on 10 HP, this is done. He knows it. He'll pick up the op and run for the hills. Loud may let him save it. A little consolation for the half, now guaranteed to be a loss. 7 rounds on the board for Loud, and a frankly ridiculous start to this map.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Optic are looking out. Like, they're looking like they're going to that lower bracket already. After losing the first map and just the way that Loud have come into this, the opening duels. And I feel like as well, a lot of the times, even in the last map, where we would see that sort of 3v5, like a couple of rounds go the way of Optic from being down a man, this time Loud looks so much more stabilized. Les has been an absolute demon at just catching them on lurks in every single round. Like, we saw him have a fantastic map on Viper. I think he's even better when it comes to the Killjoy. And then, as said, just the amount of assists that is currently just really stacking up for both Sadak and Pancada when it comes to just taking that space, leaving players in the most awkward of fights. That even Ye getting 2 kills off the back of the Operator is not even close to enough for them to win a round.
You can see the frustration on the Optic players' faces there as we swap to the player cams after the replays. A timeout called, and no doubt they'll be attempting to reset not just their game plan to get more rounds on there, but also put some more smiles on those faces. I mean, this team is looking dejected right now, 7-2 behind on a half that we, again, at least in theory, expect to be Loud's weakest.
The timeout will at least lead through with a buy afterwards. No command online is the only ult bar that Cosmic Divide, which I think Marv has had online for quite a while. Setting up Ye has been a lot of them just trying to almost post him somewhere on the map, have him have that early access, but the fact is with mid control going mostly the way of Loud, they're able to set up these lurks, they're able to set up these splits, but more importantly, they're just taking close range battles that he can't really get involved in. We've seen them so much like fight towards that tree position in the early stages of the round. I want to see that challenge like we did early on from Ye, even though it didn't go well, just something to not allow them all of that control for free.
We had Pancata start this map out incredibly hot. Now Sadik really stepping it up, but for me, Les is the most important player so far, purely because he is consistently changing Optic's game plan. He is a thorn in the side anytime they try to set up. Look at even the last round, 3 players heaven. Yeah, you have to. You have to. And this is the thing. Some of the other fights you lose, you're like, I lost that duel, that sucks. For Les, it's like you are thinking constantly, where is this guy? What is he doing? Is he behind me? Is he going to push the smoke? Is he... That is so irritating. And if you can get in your opponent's head like that and make them adapt to you, you're already winning. A lot of the time, at least. 2 hostiles detected up close. 1 on the A side a little further back. This has prompted the ult out of them, the panic ult almost.
They popped it just before. It will force almost a reset, and actually still just leaving one-man post on the other side. The thing is, though, Loud have been very happy to play into the lane. Wait patiently. And now they're going to start splitting back. There's only 1 man on this side. Nobody in position to help out Ye. Is this the round he takes over? It's not looking likely. He's completely surrounded and has to fall back to the side.
Crashies was jump spotting, left it open as they walked on through. Ye is gone, despite that trade back that they had just moments ago. The round seems to be going into Loud's favor, and again it's Les! A quick double seems to secure it. Marv, the last man standing, 1v3, low HP on Sadik, but that's about where the benefits end. Has a Cosmic Divide we don't expect to see used in time. Well, it's the least of his concerns with those numbers against him and a smoke that he'd have to walk through.
Well, of the players left in the tournament coming into today, he did have the highest clutch percentage, but to try anything here would be to risk the rifle. And honestly, at this stage, I wouldn't mind it so much. Of course, I don't expect him to necessarily win it, but they need something. This team needs a hero to almost just bring them back from the brink, because at the moment, well, this is probably the most shut down Ye's been the entire tournament, probably.
It's the most shut down I've seen Optic be, I think, just period. I mean, Loud are playing an absolutely incredible game. As we said, you know, sometimes you get these upset games and you're like, I kind of feel, oh, that was close. I kind of feel like the favorite team, like, messed up. They didn't play their best game, like, all this sort of stuff. And sometimes that's true, but you cannot take anything away from Loud. They are playing such a clean game. It was tangible from the first half on Bind. And it got even better as we watched this team warm up into the series, whereas Optic, they seem to be ice cold right now, not in a good way.
8-2. The buy from Optic, not the best, but they need to still be going for purchases at this point.
Hey, look, the little crouch. He got spotted by the recon, so he just pops a little squat there, like, hey guys, I'm over here, what you gonna do? They've left the A side completely.
Yeah, there are 4 players currently outside of it. They're looking to try and pressure into mid. It's something I mentioned just a round or so ago, that this has been somewhere that has been taken for free, and Loud have adapted. Just patiently waiting. I guess as well, with no aggression from Ye, which has been a staple of this A site, there's at least less information. Well, Crashy's just trying to hold on to that cross. I imagine he's just going to try and catch somebody as they go past the door. But with spotting absolutely no one, the knife not even going to connect onto anything, this is probably going to be quite confusing on the other side.
He doesn't get this again. They've destroyed the turret. They know he should be close by. He's in the corner. Damage done, but no kills. Optic coming ahead now, 5 versus 3. They've lost the site. They may well concede a plant as well. The retake is set up to be in their favor. They've got a Cosmic Divide as well, and that basically forces Loud to play on site.
Ready. Looking to make their move back through. The Horn only going to give them a little bit of information, but this is looking much better from Optic. Sassy, 1 versus 5. Maybe to put the final nail in the coffin. He's looking for the lineup, and while body blocked and taken out by Marv. A much better round from them. A complete, almost takedown of everything that was being attempted on the other side. And I like the idea, especially from Crashies, just basically, my job is get one kill on the cross. And that's exactly what he did. Another Prime Gaming flawless, by the way. 2 of the rounds that they've won have been flawless, but every time, Loud swung back instantly.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, to be honest, the adaptation alone is just a great face. Get rid of Les, send a player with Ye, make sure he's gone. You keep Ye alive in the late round, fantastic. But if Les comes up behind you at any point, and you know he will, and this is the thing. So I said Les has been forcing them to change. He's been getting in their heads in that sense. Well, now he's been shut down on that. And he's going to have to change his position a little bit. Could have off-put the pace of the round. Last one of the half.
They're
and
going
Loud...
for it again. The 3-man stack into mid, the exact same thing out. And by the looks of it, they're looking to pick up the pace. Now, the difference is because they've thrown in that null command, I don't think he can do the same recon. So that just means that they're going to have this site almost for free. And Crashy's desperately hoping to try and find someone around the edge of the door, but he won't.
Okay, this could be a problem still, the Cosmic Divide. So you know these players are going to remain on site. Les, not again! He changed it up again and again! Ye is shut down, he's not given a chance to play the round! Loud have the advantage, and they played on site. This Cosmic Divide doesn't lock them out nearly as much as Optic would hope it does. Instead, they're willing to fight, losing the duels. 2 versus 3. Only the men underneath now remain, with Pancada finding one, and Sassy tripling up in the round! We will end up at 9-3. Loud have put on one of the best performances on this attack side that I've seen from them. This is scary if you're a North American fan.
Yeah, as I said, I want to reiterate, over the last 3 times they played this, they are 21-3 in terms of their defensive rounds. They go in with one of the best attacking halves we've probably ever seen, and now they go on to their favored side of the map. It is going to be a brutal uphill battle for Optic to get back into this series. And while I want to know if there's anybody on the desk who believes they can do it.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. 9 rounds on the attack. Mimi, this is a dream start for Loud.
Yeah, it has been a dream indeed. And one of the guys leading the charge for this squad has been Sadak. I've been really impressed with Loud being able to consistently just lean into these 4-1 executes where Optic realizes where they're going and still they're getting away with the rounds. I think a big part of it has been this guy. He's really good to help Auspis being that second entry and setting him up with those flashes. Marved is always anchoring towards A, and you have those deep flashes to be able to shut down. But on top of that, Loud's adaptations have been great.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Loud starting off with that A main control, making sure that Astra's pressured and making sure that it's the hardest place for Optic to get info back. Then they end up going back, pushing A off middle, and then they end with an A execute. Knife goes in. It means any util gets thrown out. They can't throw util for another 8 seconds. Loud wait, and then they just hit again with an Omen flash and all the other util. Job done.
One of my biggest, one of the things I love the most about how Loud approach that as well is they don't commit to the A hit and get caught by any utility that wasn't turned off. They just hold and wait for all of those swings to come out. And this now puts insane pressure upon Optic heading into the next half. And when you look at how they've been playing their attack side, I think Ye's been the most interesting part of it. This is attack side kills from Ye, and he's getting a lot of kills in their spawn. He's going and working mid in a lot of these rounds, and the rest of the team pivots around him to set him up for these looks. Kind of how FPX plays with Forsaken. The problem is, I mean, this is just almost an unwinnable spot. Louder averaging 9 rounds on defense this year. That is just absurd. Ye can't do all of that.
Yeah,
Optic can't do all of that.
It has to be an entire team effort for them to even have a chance in this one. But we saw some moments. They take that nice retake at the end of that half. The fans are chanting for them. For once, Optic has a crowd behind them. And now the grand final, having that clean run, it relies on this half. It relies on a miracle.
I honestly think it's just about this pistol round. If Optic get this pistol round, it's like what I'd be thinking about. I can bring it back, boys. I can do some nice calls here. We can work the map and we can end it.
Well, let's see if Daddy can do that. Mitch and Tom, back to you.
Did she mean us or Finesse?
I think it might have been Finesse.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Tom. I don't want to get your hopes up, but...
Our boast is right here, I was about to say.
Loud of 93%.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so we mentioned this coming into the game. We heard it from the desk. Like, this is the half we expect Loud to put up the most numbers. That's not possible. They're going to put up 4 and it's done. And
unless we go to mega OTs.
Crowd is behind Optic, that's for sure. We need this pistol to go their way. Loud have won 2 out of 3 of them, with big individual performances stepping it up. Not even the game plan that took it across the line. For Optic, they're taking it slowly. You know, you can feel how much this round means to them. This is not one that they go into and look for some loose kills. They need to take every advantage they can possibly get here. Look at him stack.
3 players and a 4th looking to hold on to the cross. Victor, he's having trouble just breaking the turret. Timmy surviving far longer than he should, and he gets hit by a shock dart. Aspas already demolishing 2 members. It is a shambles on the way through, but Marv might have just rectified it. The ping up is going to give some information, but the trades are so good on the side of Loud. They're low though. There's a chance. Pancada, if he goes down, it could be a problem. But Aspas, 4 kills in the pistol round, double digits for Loud. And while they are moments away from getting themselves into the grand final again.
It certainly seems that way. A tale as old as time between these 2 teams. That rivalry not going to end in Brazil, or sorry, in North America's favor for now, it seems. Another pistol that follows the same pattern. We had a 4K, a 3K, a 4K, individuals on Loud, stepping it up. You can see Optic in a moment, they get a little bit tunnel visioned into finding those kills, expecting this is the last guy on the site, but then there's 2 more. They ran into the stack and realized it too late, and now they're left to classics. This should be 11 rounds for Loud, and then a basically flawless half if Optic are to have any chance in this series.
I feel like there's very few believers at this point. The
crowd seems to.
The crowd will them on. I'll say that. Okay, well, Ye's managed to win a battle. Sadak's probably going to want that one deleted from the VOD, but it doesn't matter. His teammates are there. As said, we've got so many strong performers on this squad. And now it's on to Finesse. He's even getting spammed up. Would need some classic magic, and it isn't happening. Still a decent round,
sure.
But in the context of things, I don't know how much difference it will make.
Yeah, it's a silver lining at best, but you got to capitalize on it. And so far, Optic have struggled to get anything on the board. We have rounds where Ye's pulling up 2 kills with an op, and then they still just get rolled over coming into site pushes. Victor had that fantastic 2K, and
He's
since then, yep.
Oh no.
It's been shaky. And I don't know what's leading to it, but Loud are playing some of the best Valorant I've seen out of this region, out of this team.
They're pushing both extremities.
Of anyone.
They've got so much control already, and with the weaker weapons, this is just the perfect positioning for them to be in. They're not going to be able to take any of that control, and instead, mid is going to be 4. It's not gone well for Marv. That's going to be a rifle into the hands of his opponents, and they only came into this with mostly stingers.
Oh, and Aspas even shuts down Ye. Another rifle to be retrieved. Control and a trap gone, which means no information for Optic anymore. There are 3 players stacked up on A, and they basically need to commit to it. Crashies is kept out for a moment, but okay, they've got Sadik. Now they can look towards the site. You've got an Omen here. They know that. The paranoia already put out, and so he's the last man standing on the site. As he goes down, it's a 2v2, but look at Crashies. My man has got 1 health left. Victor. He had a 2K earlier on. He had 2 more kills since. We need to see this as a round where he delivers, because I don't think Crashies is going to have it in him to win these duels. Luckily, there's no damage dealing utility, so they will have to do it with the bullets.
Timmy disagrees. 1 bullet from the turret could be enough. It means there can't really be a swing, and they're just looking to try and play off of each other. Victor almost just going to hide in the corner, trying to use Crashies as bait, so they won't check it the second time. And he is still just lurking around this angle. Does Aspas actually go back in for this peek? He does, but he loses the fight. And they know roughly where Les is going to be. He's just sticking this defusal, looking to try and get it all the way. And he lets go and lands the headshot. This man has been unstoppable this series. And 12 and 9 match points go the way of Loud.
This is looking over. It was already there, but this round, the insult to injury, the stick that comes through, and then he just pulls off it after a whiffed swing from Victor. Great kill onto Aspas, but look at this. 2 bullets fired. He didn't commit. And then he swings back out into the bullets, into the pre-fire. 9 chances to close this out. Loud have kept this energy up from step 1, and this guy's got an Odin in his hand. Sassy, I love you, man. Scary thing to play up against, that's for sure. And a judge for Sadek. Of course, yeah. No, naturally.
Finesse. Taking a little bit of early space. Aspas, the thing is, he's been hit, but it might give the bait that there's not a second player there, and they're almost being funneled towards this judge. It does seem like Optic are going to lose this game, but you don't want to lose it to that gun.
Not like this. Okay, Victor's making a good call. Well, maybe not. I mean, there is an op here, and the bullets ringing out from Les. They're a distraction. They were to hide the fact that Aspas was here. He will tank that KO knife. Nowhere to go. No utility to get him out.
They all got hit by the knife on the other side, so they know that basically the entirety of Optic are in mid. They have 40 seconds to play with. Aspas, he lights them up! A collapse that has probably put Optic to bed here. Crash is even taken to half HP, and it's left onto him to try and clutch this out, but Aspas has had enough. A knife needed to be connected, but instead it's less to put them down. Loud dominate Optic to make their way through to the final, and we already know we're heading to Brazil at the beginning of next year. Loud want to take a trophy there.
They want to go with the crown into the next year. What a fantastic display. Map number 1 was Optics. We knew it from the get-go, but they came through and delivered so far beyond what we expected, putting Brazil on the map for the millionth time, getting themselves into the grand final. They might have a rematch on their hands, but after their performance here today, I think anybody will be scared to face Loud. This team has decimated Optic 13-3, a loss the likes of which they haven't felt for a long time.
But that's the thing, we talk about Brazil as a region as being very top-heavy. There's been the Vikings before them, and now Loud leading the way, but I imagine if you're one of the teams from that region right now, you're going to see, this is what we have to play against week in, week out. This is who we have to try and beat to qualify every single time. They looked unstoppable today. And again, this is the thing we've said the whole tournament. It isn't one superstar. We're not looking at an Aspas. We're not looking at maybe a Durka. We're not looking at someone having to just win or basically put up crazy numbers every single time. The fact is, we have seen every single member of this Loud squad step up. Even just looking at the frags, it's like 5 between top and bottom. And every single member had their impact. The supportive players of Sadak and Pancada have had world-class matches throughout this event. And honestly, at this tournament, this looks like the most complete team.
That is for sure. You can have 1, 2, maybe even 3 players have a bad day. It doesn't matter. There's always someone to pick up the slack. And the reality is, every time these guys have played, it's gone to 3 maps at least. I mean, it was 3-0 even in a BO5 to Optic. Never have they been dealt a hand like this. Unbelievable stuff from Loud from the get-go. And I mean, sure, there's a couple of rounds that came close that could have put more on the board for Optic, but even if they win a couple more clutches, it just looked too solid from Loud. They were in control from the get-go, and they never let their hands off the reins.
But that's the thing, this is also for Optic their first loss within the tournament. Sure, they've had maps go in the other direction, but it seems like this feud between these two teams, it's just going to continue to go. And obviously, if you're an Optic fan, if you're a North American fan, this isn't them out of the tournament. This is just sending them into the lower bracket, which means we could have the matchup of the miracle story of DRX looking to try and take them down, or we could have the champions of the first Masters versus the champions of the second Masters to try and go and play against that best team within Brazil. Either way, we have got stories for days heading forward in this tournament.
The contrast between each side of the stage there, you can see the frustration as Optic take their headsets off.
Don't blame them.
They're flinging paper across. I can only imagine what was written on that, possibly something for the celebration. It won't be happening this time. And you know, the desk said, I think it was Sideshow that said, this rivalry, it's been alive for a long time and it's not going anywhere coming into next year. I think they've just cemented that. Optic will not forget this game for quite a while. MVP vote time. Scan the QR code down below for your in-zone MVP. Aspas, Les, Pancada, or a coach in there for one of the first
Yeah,
times.
to be honest, I don't really blame them at this point. Like,
yes,
this man has been leading the way in terms of just pushing this team forward and basically just seeing that consistent improvement from the squad. Again, I feel like it's a tough choice either way because you could have put anybody on that list, but that's why it's down to you guys. You get to decide who is going to be that player of the match, and obviously that is us done for this event, but there is so much more to come even today. DRX versus FPX is the next matchup, but first, back to the desk.
Where am I?
Losing my mind.
Match found. Death match. Warm up.
I survived obliteration. I will survive them.
Fight!
Claw through them.
Shut down completely. They looked in control from the get-go. Shoulder beat, he didn't even shot. The round is saved by Pancado with a Red Bull clutch. Less, not again. He changed it up again and again.
One enemy remaining.
Dominates Optic to make their way through the final.
Experiment complete.
We're heading to Brazil at the beginning of next year. We want to take a trophy there.
And that was the Prime Gaming post-match highlights. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Youngsu, and I have Mimi, both and Saisho with me. As Tom said at the end of that cast, we are heading to Brazil. And Saisho, it's time to invest.
Yeah, come to Brazil and bring a trophy with you.
No more meddling.
Right now. I don't know how Optic would want that. Loud were just in unreal form. Every game plan worked. Every player's popping off. That's what happens when you build a super team and have a great game.
Yeah, they really do. This team has continued to impress. I think the preparation that they put in for Ascent was really well done. They were running a similar strat.
Dominating.
On that attacking side, but Optic struggled to crack it. They continue to be stellar in these games, and in this one, they didn't even have to make it close whatsoever. What a performance across the board for Loud.
Credit the coach, analyst, or whoever was kind of in that prep div, you know, getting those individual heads, but also kind of really anti-stratting that Optic side on Ascent, especially like taking that A main. Optic really struggling to get Mark was really under pressure. It's like, why don't we do that against DRX? What will we do?
I mean, as you heard FNS say, what is going on? You don't often hear that, but also, what a performance from Loud to get into that grand final. Not like this.
No, not in this fashion. Previously, it was a slogfest versus Optic in that one out. This one, normal one. You can see in the stats, every single one of their players has been performing, has been stepping up. And what makes this even more impressive is this is only the third team that has ever been able to make a repeat grand finals performance. It was Mech when they went into the grand finals at Berlin and then at Champions, and it was previously Optic at both Berlin 1 and back at Reykjavik. But now this team as well has been able to make that repeat and kept themselves relevant across the board.
Loud throughout this tournament have put themselves back onto everybody. Need to respect and are in the running to win championships, win tournaments. And this, you said it was just a flat, an absolute flat. All the same things that Loud were beating Optic at happened again. They were winning 2/3 of the rifle rounds in this series, and they won 8 4v5s, whereas Optic only won 2. I mean, that is just, you can't win against that level of discrepancy.
10 kills remaining.
Back at the features. This was way before the event actually started, and we talked about his performance then into the finals and coming second, and he like it almost got to their heads a little bit, like getting to the finals of that first, and now they kind of had that little reality check, and now they're back in the event and they're showing their true form once again.
Yeah, one of those young players, of course, is Pancado, and I know you've also been really impressed with him here too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, his positioning, I mean, in those kind of post plants and out plants, like he was finding those 1v1s in situations. He was like really just kind of owning it and being that really hard player, and that's something to player, because they always want to search for those cracks. They always want to hold that W. But he was kind of sitting it back, ice cold in the veins, and
yeah, and he's facing the guy who's known for being ice cold in the veins. He marked, and I think that
5 kills remaining.
Consistency for this team, and I would say he's been looking like the best. Heading into the grand finals, he's been able to maintain that form against one of the best teams we have here.
Through the same path that they went again, they go all the way through that upper bracket into the but this time they look like a different team. They're a team with experience. And also, I say, that is a much more dangerous lower bracket this time around.
Yeah.
Loud are going to come in and just be able to get rid of Fracture and Pearl, let's say.
1 kill remaining.
Every other map that they played at this event, they've lost on Fracture and Pearl, and they've won 100% on every other map. I mean, that is phenomenal advantage heading into the grand final.
Yeah, from stellar performances from so many teams to now, this squad in Loud looking taking on course to maybe even win the tournament. This really has been the events of South America stepping up, and for Loud in particular, it's such a big achievement. That lower bracket is going to be insane. FPX or DRX, Optic, only one of those teams will have a chance to face them.
Yeah, a lot of dangerous players on the side of Loud as well. Before the break, we asked you guys at home to vote for the in-zone player of the match. The results are in, and you guys voted for Les here. Again, Boaster, one of those young players. You have a couple of young players on your roster as well. How do you keep them kind of humble and calm in these situations? Because this is another big grand final for them.
Honestly, it's a lot of hard work. You know, there's often times where we're talking about anti-strats and their attention kind of drifts off, and you're like, hey, Alfia. What were we talking about? And he's like, Ascent, and we're like, no, it was Haven. We're talking about Haven on long. What's going on? That's your... So, like, it was just really nice there to see kind of Les really popping off and playing that lurk role at such a young age, kind of having that experience to kind of switch up his positions and catch the enemy rotations off it was really quite impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, Loud, they have two players to keep those young guns in check, and one of them is Sassy. He is standing by right now with Chrissy in the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. Yes, I am standing by with Sassy right now. Congratulations, by the way. Massive win. Not just a win, but a massive win, especially on map 2, right? Yeah. Does it feel good?
I mean, star map, right? I didn't think that they would leave it as an open. But yeah, I mean, our draft was pretty good. Like, you know, the pick and bans and...
Match found.
So after our win, fine. I mean, yeah, we had a pretty good chance in this series.
And that had to be a good feeling, too, to win on their map pick as well, right off the bat, knowing you're going into your map pick next. You're in a super comfortable place. Obviously, Optic is a team that you've gone up against a lot. You know, in Reykjavik, they beat you. They knock you out in Copenhagen very early on. Does this feel like redemption to you, or will you not feel like it's redemption until you've taken it all?
I mean, honestly, it's not over yet. You know, the history can repeat itself. So I'm working to make it not happen.
Let's go.
So yeah, I mean...
You want to bring home that trophy
yeah,
first,
yeah.
before
I
you
mean,
say
I want
anything.
the trophy this time, you know, so...
But it's got to be a weight off your shoulders to know you've secured your spot in the grand finals. You're going there, have a day off, kick your feet up, relax, get ready for that next
Yeah, yeah, it's like, it's a big advantage, right? We can like still watch the game from Optic. We still don't know who we're going to play, who they are going to play against.
Yep.
But you know, it's a pretty good advantage, and still we have more bans on draft. So yeah, it's a good spot.
So, irrelevant to this tournament specifically, but just a question that I wanted to ask you. As someone who, you're at the top of the ladder in the Valorant chain right now in the world. You're the first team to secure your spot in the grand finals, in the biggest tournament of the year. What advice would you give to young gamers who want to be in this position one day standing on this stage?
I mean, you know, I've been like gaming for like 8 years, I guess. Yeah. I've come like from League of Legends, so now I'm like playing Valorant. It's like it's pretty strange, right? And you know, honestly, I'm glad that my parents support me. So, I mean, never give up, you know? Gaming is like, it's a really professional sport, you know? So you just take serious the game, and you take far away, you know?
Yeah, it's brought you all the way here to Istanbul.
Yeah.
Hopefully, next year, we're going to be coming to you in Brazil, and hopefully we're going to come visit your trophy there, right?
Oh, I hope so.
Hope so? Absolutely.
Yeah, but first this one.
First this one, yeah. We'll bring the trophy back to Brazil, and then we'll go get another one, right?
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you in the grand final in 2 days. Hope you have a great day off tomorrow, relaxing, prepping, getting in the zone. We're going to be taking a
time to kill some
Spike rush.
Another rematch. It's FPX versus DRX. I will see you over on the desk. Stay tuned. Here. Blocking sight. No charges left. Oops.
One enemy remaining. Long.
Wow, so embarrassing.
Good work. Keep going. Spike planted. Last player standing.
Variable removed.
Last round before the switch.
Let's see their jet fight without wind.
This is our home. Keep them out. I've got your trail.
You want to play? Let's play.
Last player standing.
Get out of my way.
Flawless. Switching sides.
Corners. Time to show off, Jet. Keep up. Lock in sight. Lock in sight.
Last player standing.
You want to play? Let's play.
30 seconds left. Match point.
Everyone makes fun of German efficiency. Ha ha. Just keep laughing as you use all my gear. Quick peeks now. Stay down. My ult's ready. Here we go. Shocking.
One enemy remaining. Toxin screen down. Last player standing.
Knife deployed. Enemy suppressed.
Clutch. Defenders win. Match found.
already sorted everything.
Spike rush.
Invaders here to take our radio night. I'm sorry. Let's go shoot them.
Welcome back to Valorant Champion Istanbul and our lower bracket semifinals between
Placing sentry.
Fun plus Phoenix is up next. We just saw Optic Loud, obviously Loud, absolute decimation. I'm Chris Costanza.
Alarm bot out.
Welcome back to the deck, Benkai. My first time on the deck, so excited.
Multiple enemies A. Here.
Enemy spotted A.
Here. Placing swarm grenade.
Last player standing.
I'll beat it in. Oh.
We move as a unit, okay? Last thing I need is some hero messing things up.
Placing alarm bot.
This is a scary place to be. FPX right now. Right there.
Turret out.
Incredible. This is the fourth time now that they're kind of teed this up the last time that they faced off.
Recalling my bot.
My ultimate is ready.
They're concussed.
Oh.
Healing over here.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Spike planted. Last
Got
player
one.
standing.
My ultimate is ready. Initiated. Placing alarm bot. Area's clear. Got three. Oh.
Last round in the half.
Let us see what they have planned for us this time.
Turret out. Alarm bot out. Hi! I'm pissed!
Don't get in my way. Enemy spotted mid.
Finish.
You want to play? Let's play.
Clearing out.
Spike planted.
Recalling my bot.
We're talking about, win conditions and the styles of the two different teams. DRX is very academic.
Here.
They like a lot of prep. They like to really analyze and study their opponents and kind of get into the head.
Can't use that yet. Initiated. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Enemy in attack.
Here. Caught one. Oh, no. You don't deserve mine.
One enemy remaining.
Placing swarm grenade.
Switching sides.
Sloppy. Punish them.
Time for a field test.
sentry.
Enemy A.
Here. Boss coming back. Deleted. Placing swamp grenade.
One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
Alarm bot out. Placing swamp grenade.
Spike planted. Enemy A.
Found them. Turret out.
Is there an advantage in Benkai when you're kind of thinking about how you're going to play against your opponent? How much do you...
Bomb grenade out. Where are we going this time? Remember what worked in the past.
Careful.
Placing alarm bot.
Breakthrough.
Bot coming back.
Reloading.
Heal up, squad. Enemy down. My ultimate is ready. Placing alarm bot. Reloading. Initiated. Placing swamp grenade. Area's clear.
Enemy B.
Swamp grenade out. Time to hunt.
Concussing.
Turret out.
Trap destroyed.
One enemy remaining. Match point.
They are so dead.
Well, I, for one, am very excited to see what happens next between these two teams. I cannot wait to see who the outcome is, who we're going to With that being said, let's get down to the stage to get into map selection.
Placing sentry.
Enemy spotted mid.
Is, of course, that
Turret destroyed.
Enemy spotted A.
Slate tie.
30
My
seconds
ocean
left.
Run.
Reloading.
fairly recently, so, well, I think that is one that leads
10 seconds left.
Found one. Found one.
One enemy remaining. Sudden death.
internationally, so curious to see what they have prepared. DRX, I'm interested in that kind of conversation. How do you prepare for a team that just hasn't even shown this map? Do you expect DRX is just going to go for maximum comfort on you?
Find the weak point and break it. Alarm bot out.
Reloading.
Reloading. Placing sentry.
I'm a good shot. Enemy defender spawn. Spike planted.
Hawk out.
Here.
One enemy remaining.
Right, I'm pissed.
Found one.
Attackers win.
My brain was a little fried, but it is flipped back and forth. Last time Haven banned, this time the Breeze. So the Haven comes through, and that is something new for FPX.
Yeah.
Well, with the map picks locked in, we're going to take a quick break, but DRX and FPX, try and say that 3 times fast, will be taking the stage in just a few minutes. You're not going to want to miss this rematch. Don't go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey, yo, bro, you coming to the rave, yeah? I'll be there. You just call me, man. Don't worry about that, man. I got you, yeah? Hold up. Let me call you back.
Welcome back to Valorant Champions Istanbul. We are about to kick off our lower bracket semi-final between the best of Korea and the best of EMEA. It is DRX and FPX. Let's head to the stage for the Prime Gaming Agent Select.
Angel. Shell. Stacks. Siphon. Buzz. Dim Bros. Tammy.
The crowd is very fired up right now, chanting
dancing for FPX, waking up a lot more during this second match already. Clearly super excited about the EMEA and Asia matchup here of the two giants. And we're seeing a lot of excitement out of the crowd and the players. Right now.
Yeah, both these teams have so many fans in attendance for them. DRX, a lot of people coming all the way out from Korea to cheer them on. Some members of the org, just some fans of the team, and some people here from Turkey that have gone over to that side. The stadium is divided between these two squads, but only one can continue after this.
It's going to be hard to tell who's chanting for who, because it kind of all gets, you hear an X at the end, you're like, X, and you're like, I'm not really sure which way that's going. Either way, lots of cheers for the play-out walkouts. It's really exciting atmosphere in here right now, isn't it, Benkai? As a player, does it get you really hyped when the crowd is really energetic, or does it make you more nervous?
It's really surreal when you hear the crowd cheering for you for the first time. Like I was the first team to play in front of a crowd, so I kind of miss it, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, it's just so nice to just watch the crowd cheer for these other teams as well.
For FPX, though, they've been here so many different times, right? This is the most experienced team pretty much in front of crowds, and they love it. You can see Artist just having fun with it, enjoying his time in front of the fans. For DRX, they've had a little bit less experience in these stage games. It's only here at Champions that they've gotten an opportunity at that international crowd outside of their home region in Korea. And for them, the pressure is really on. They've already broken that curse. Now they need to see if they can break further than that.
Honestly, I think Stax looks pretty comfortable in front of a crowd, so I think he's going to be really feeding off of this energy here. Let's jump into the Prime Gaming Agent Select and see what these two giants are going to be picking for this massive rematch here. What are we expecting to see here, Seth?
Perhaps some changes, given how things went last time on Icebox for them. I misspoke earlier, it was versus Fnatic with that 17-13 loss that DRX did suffer. And yeah, we actually are going to be seeing quite a few changes. Buzz is going back over to the chamber. This is something that we've only been seeing from him on Fracture thus far.
Yeah, they do go back to a fairly standard comp on this map where they have that no duelist. I think the Fade is the biggest adaptation that some teams have shown a willingness to play. I think that, I like the idea behind the Killjoy comp. Their implementation didn't really work, and it didn't feel like it played to their style super well. So I'm happy to see this change. On the other side, though, to talk about FPX, this team has shown two different comps thus far. An iteration with the Raze, an iteration with the KO. Both have their strengths, but it seems like they're again landing on this Raze comp. It really enables Zipan to step up as an individual.
Benkai, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I think just having the solo Fade on FPX right now is gonna make DRX's job a bit easier for their chamber, because sometimes the Fade dog, like the Prowler, doesn't detect like the high angles that chamber can be playing at. So I'm gonna be looking onto their chamber player to make a lot of impact in terms of the early round stage.
Yeah, and as long as Buzz can stay up, if he can find value on this chamber when they get over to that defensive side, can shut down Zipan on that dive, it could be massive. But they start on the attack, so it's going to come down to what can they do on these lurks, what can they do on these slower rounds to be able to find space and deny an FPX, who is a comp that is very heavy in shutting down those plants, in letting you in and punishing you with traps on the Raze.
How do you think DRX counters FPX here? What are their chances? How are we looking?
I think you say Buzz go kill. Buzz needs to have an incredibly strong game. We've seen him pop in the past. Stax as well, somebody who's kind of bringing up the rear in their series versus Fnatic. If he can have a normal Stax performance and everyone else is operating on a similar level as we saw versus Fnatic, I think that this could be taken by DRX. But FPX, they are the rematch masters. It's a 78% chance for them to be able to take this one. Statistically, they haven't lost a rematch yet.
All right, well, let's find out which team moves one step closer to that crown and send it over to our casters. Here's Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. The crowd is electric. The vibes in here, immaculate. I mean, you can feel the tension building behind us. It's going to be a good match, Bala.
It's literally dueling chants right off the bat, multiple times, and we haven't even gotten started.
I mean, the rematch history between these two teams, not just here. Yeah. Right. You rewind time back a little bit, go back into the calendar. These two teams have danced before.
Yeah, Copenhagen, DRX gave FPX problems getting out of groups. That was the first time they met up, and this will decide who's going to take the lead or DRX to tie it up.
Final fist bumps across the tables as we once again turn our attention to Icebox, the opener in this best of three. Elimination on the mind, and potentially a dance with Optic tomorrow.
Lower bracket finals. One more step, one more chance for both of these teams. The last hopes for their respective regions. The last opportunity for a podium finish for both of them. FPX, potential second one, and DRX, their first ever.
I mean, they've already defied expectations. They've already laughed in the face of a curse that was before them for so long that plagued them the entire year. And for them to get further is just icing on the cake. But you know their eyes are set on far much more than that. You see a DRX starting off on attack. They're going to wake their way over to A, and it's really just...
Yeah, they're playing retake FPX.
Yeah.
And look, all 5 members are already rotating through. They want to use the utility that Sipon has, pair it up with a bunch of other stuff too, to get back in this fast. And there immediately the season and aid.
He just exploded.
And the problem here is this wall is going to fall, but they're not fast enough actually with the pistols.
Second time's a charm, or so they say. The spike eventually does get planted. See FPX approaching, or at least attempting to approach and think through this retake. They're going to have to do with the pesky player who's playing further up.
Marco is playing lineup as well.
He swings as the wall goes down, and Artist is there to greet him. But you're right, lineups are going to be a problem here. Shao has gotten it all the way to half. Has to peel back. Buzz waiting for the challenge. Boy, did he get one. But can Mako? I don't know that it's going to be enough. Yeah, Angel's just going to stick it. There was not enough in the post plant.
Only one molly there for Mako, and all the players that he was leaving to fight went down immediately too. And DRX started that series as well against Fnatic on this map as well. Durka went absolutely crazy. And FPX starting off with the same type of fire. That sees nade right off the rip. It's not usually something you're seeing DRX be caught off guard by. They're usually the ones who are bringing in that prep immediately. And the first challenge here, do some damage to this anti-eco of FPX.
I know DRX are set up towards A, but look at that brutal setup down B long. You've got Artist with a Vandal and Zipan with the Guardian.
Immediately getting the heal off too, so he gets happy to face check there with no risk. And the wall funnels them too. They're playing this anti-eco very well so far. You even have Angel now rotating over. Ready potentially for a hot when this wall comes back up.
Or Prowler swinging around the corner. You see Patience out of Sax. Remember, he was the one who just got destroyed by the Season 8 combo previously. Still holding the spike in the same spot he was in before. A couple of spams through the Viper wall, nothing doing quite yet. Mako.
Hit wall here. They could be really up close though.
It's a really late wall. Shao's already spotted the first. A little bit of spam through. There's still time to pivot if need be. But for now, they stay. For now, they hold their ground. Committed to getting into A at whatever which way possible. And Buzz from up top with the Headhunter's going to get one down. 4v4 here. The fact that they've gotten this far up, the fact that they've gotten the spike down is impressive in and of itself. But Sugetsu with the spam through the smoke shows he's pretty impressive himself. Now you see DRX start to fall apart. Sugetsu has already gotten 3 on the round. And while Mako has 2 this time, surely. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh! And he still has lineups! He still has 2!
The orb isn't down though. And oh my goodness, Artist.
He's just gonna hold it.
You could definitely hold it through that even.
Mako, Artist goes up top. Mako's so weak, he has to back up. Second molly gone. No more post plant to deal with. Artist has a massive decision before him. Artist on the tap. The swing! And Artist stops disaster.
Puts down the 1v4.
My goodness.
That was so ridiculously close. But talk about goal achieved, Doug. 4 kills on the round, and that is not something that happens to FPX.
No, bro, with a ghost? Good night.
It's 2 plants now, too, for DRX. Huge buy available for them. FPX, honestly, they're looking like they're mostly saving here.
Yeah, remember, they invested 2 Spectres, a Guardian, and a Vandal. The Vandal's the only one that survived.
So cancel out the bonus. Well, actually, they're still going to go for it. But look at Mako. He has his Viper's Pit online already. So win condition here for FPX. Make sure they don't get on the site, especially this B side.
Hard is playing top yellow. And really everyone from DRX is here. patience from the attacking side as now the utility goes up. Now they want to make a play. Artist having to give the space up. The rendezvous hitting him back, and Artist goes back in.
Everybody flashed?
Yeah, but this time there's nothing for him to get out with. Stacks on the plant. Angel playing close by.
Super unconventional.
Yeah.
That wall, I mean, there's no way you can get those nades in.
Not easily. And now you have the Viper pit you're going to have to deal with too. Angel trying to clear out back yellow. Not able to succeed either. But maybe Zipan can. A 4v3 here. Zipan the only one with a weapon. The only one. Actually, Xiao just upgraded. Now he has a Vandal. Still so healthy. DRX are still so patient. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh no! Xiao only gets one, but Zipan's gotten 3 on the round. How has Sax gotten to this point? A 1v1. Sugetsu on the swing. There's not anything there. The Red Bull clutch for Stax.
And it was heroics. It was fireworks. It was so electric the last 2 times these 2 teams played, especially in that first map. We're 3 maps in, and it's got everybody excited for what's to come. Look at this. The dive down from the FPX player, Xiao. I mean, he almost got 2 even.
Yeah, he did.
And Stax holds strong. That is ridiculous. But it was just the bonus, so FPX have their pit of their own now.
Bro, if every round is going to be like that, we're in for a wild ride.
Look at that. Slow as well. No, the pits. It failed. It just failed. And you know that everybody's thinking right now, the chip on the shoulder coming in with FPX, and that's what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Artist.
Oh, tried getting away.
Gun here.
Just ridiculous. And the entire game plan was set up to use that pit. So we'll see what happens here, but Sugetsu has to play with just his wall. He didn't even get a chance to put his orb.
Still has one Molly to play with too.
And they still have that massive denial potential with Zipan's nade still up. They have a slow. They still have as well a Molly as well to combine, and the C's.
They have tools, and they've shown efficacy in those tools in the past. This time it's going to be slightly different flavor.
Planted.
The Sax is going to take some damage nonetheless. Heal, top and back off, and they back right up. But now Buzz pushing forward, or at least anticipating someone to be swinging around the corner. While FPX patient on how they approach this, now you see the utility whir through the sky and dump onto the side, and Sax wants to go aggressive. He's just waiting on the other side of the wall, and he's flashed up to high heaven. Can't see a bloody thing. And Stax has gotten 2. He tries to go up high, but RB is the one who cleans it up. But Xiao down low. It's the jumping classic that cleans up Xiao and gets DRX to 2.
Just wild. Very slow approach there. I mean, because they lost the first player. On the other side of the map, they're really, really slow to rotate in. So Zipan's not there to deny. Everybody has to play off the site. All because of that cascading effect from the pit missing. They still have tools to fight in here. Yes, the buy looks a little scuffed, but
I mean, very scuffed.
They have the showstopper, the tour de force, if they want to pop it, if they find themselves in a situation where they get a pick, and you've seen artists work magic with the Guardian.
Choosing to be the one to tote the weapon here is Artist, and that's exactly where they're pushing into. And you see DRX, they crouch down.
RB has his knife up too. So they can potentially sniff out the fact that Artist is over on this side, but he did get RB.
And Sugetsu swung at the exact same time, but the res brings RB back. Remember here, the weaponry, not great for FPX.
This angle from Buzz is so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, there's a little something you can look through too. You see Stax trying to play close by, Mako waiting for any sort of rotation through mid. And there it is! Oh, but Sugetsu was wise to it. What a clean shot! Zest able to take care of Zipan.
Look at that patience from Zestu. He could have gone for that kill, but he falls back into his team where he can be more effectively traded. Sugetsu's getting a lot of space here, though.
Artist playing up top. The Guardian finds nothing, while DRX find it all, including the lead.
That was that low buy round. Remember, Artist purchased a little bit more because he's going to use this tour de force. So DRX, while they've broken FPX right off the bat, I mean, even that second round, the heroics that we saw from Mako.
Yeah.
That shot from Zest.
He had plenty of challenges, that's for sure.
You're seeing a very composed DRX right off the bat. Specifically Zest there. Other players too, RB, Stacks. Everybody super strong to start things off.
And again, seemingly unfazed by the historic run that they're making right now. A cozy one-round lead. You see Artist, who had the tour de force, as you mentioned, starting to control mid-map. Boy, has he gone up far. The Nightfall going to clear out A. You see the knife, you see the Prowler, you see the
Oh, that nade.
But it's the nade, you're right. That changes things.
As soon as they're setting up to actually use utility on their execute, they're all behind this pipes position. So they use a nade and a seize. And it's perfectly placed. Now Zipan can cause so much trouble with the showstopper.
I mean, he's just waiting for the cue, right? Whatever it is. They've shown willingness to go off a utility that's seen, and there it is. He's patient! The wall up into the eye didn't kill Zest at all, but Mako does!
Nobody's swinging with him there. Xiao way too far away from the wall. Doesn't want to go through the decay either.
Stacks playing close by is now Xiao. You mentioned he was one of the few that remained. Having to deal with that pesky wall. And they get through one panel. Artist has to... he has to find value out of this tour de force here. He still has a Vandal and he's managed to upgrade too as well. Sugetsu has fallen.
Oh, wow.
Artist with the ult. Oh, the timing's not good. Can Xiao do it on his own? No. Mako gets 3, DRX get 4.
Incredibly solid start here from DRX. They force the eco. Again, maybe there's a force here in the cards for FPX. But it's 4-2. Remember the start in their last game was a brutal beginning of this half against Fnatic. The hands of Durka and his team. And this is a completely different look now.
That different look seems to be paying off. They've won the last 4 rounds. Cozy on money. Still have a couple of ults to work with too, including RBs.
There's 2 players here close. Zipan and Artist. And remember, Benkai mentioned the height difference with these Prowlers.
Absolutely right. Is he going to find value? Oh my goodness, he is. With nothing but a Spectre.
It's not clearable, that position. They're still fighting for this, though. They're going to actually push.
Are they going to swing into him? Oh my gosh, they're going to swing into him, and he swings right back!
The knives are out! Why are the knives out? They're just not committing to that push. Want to fall back instead.
They seem hesitant, apprehensive. As they mull over really every decision before him, and indecision is failure oftentimes.
There's just little precision on that approach. Walking up close. I think maybe they're trying to scoop a gun? Maybe. And that could have made a difference, but you know you didn't deny that space. You know they walked past you.
Yeah.
So for sure you're expecting fights. There's the timeout. Absolutely needed here as they get the guns online. Artist gets the op online too. And he needs to start being able to take these first contacts. He's just not finding the right site so far in this game. He did swap over to that B site, but only when he had the Guardian. Every other time he's rotating in super, super late. And for the most consistent player of FPX, you need to find him value immediately. So I'm looking for a mid push here from Artist, something like that to try to challenge Mako as he puts that orb down. You have to see him getting involved early, not late, not trying to rotate in past the Viper's wall, while his teammates are really making the space gathering that he needs.
DRX's approach has netted them a 3-round lead. They're not running a duelist at all, so there is no crazy go. Right, it's been a bit more methodical, it's been a bit slower, and it's cost FPX this. You're right, Artist has not found as much value as we are used to seeing him find here.
Yeah.
And maybe this round is where they can turn it around. You see the operator in his hands, light armor. We'll see where he's set up. DRX have found a lot of success towards A. And that seems to be where they're headed. The Viper wall up towards B to suggest a little something, but you see Artis, he's set up. There's going to be a challenge his way.
The crowd is asking for this moment right here from Artis. He's just top of Gen.
Can he deliver?
You can easily dodge this angle.
There's no satchel or anything to go fast off of, right? There's got to be a flash, there's got to be something, but no, they just walk right past him, or at least attempt to.
Potentially the worst player to fall here for Stacks on this attack side.
Absolutely.
No Sage Wall now, and they've been relying on it late in the rounds.
I mean, it's been so pivotal to their plan. It's been so integral to their identity in this half. The Prowler, the shot, and Artis does it again. With the crowd before him, he answers the call. But again, the C's nade, this time from RB. It's good.
No TP available there either. Pulled it back immediately.
Oh, that Nightfall's gonna hit all three.
That pings them up, but there's no follow-up, so they can easily wait this out. A little concerned now about the flank because Buzz is down, so look at all of them basically watching the back. And with the noise not being there for them, you have to consider that.
Yeah.
Still utility to get through here, though. I mean, they still have the C's, they still have the nade.
30 seconds left.
Xiao's playing close by, too. They've got to set up. Amanda's cleared. The Prowler does too. Mako some clean shots, and RB does too, but Zipan! He can snatch it back. Can Mako do this 1v2? He's waiting. You see the rotation starting to come through. He has already spotted Zipan. Who else is there? Spots them both. 13 seconds left.
They got time on their side.
Down, and it's a game of chicken. Challenges them to swing, and he gladly does.
Gets the op as well. Zipan, for sure, has been good on this role specifically.
Yeah, he has.
He's been really close to Artis on any sort of statistical leaderboard, and also contributing so much to the entries, no matter what role he plays. But it's just much more captivating to see him play this Raze on this map instead of the KO, which, by the way, DRX completely taking that old comp that FPX was running.
Yeah.
That FPX kind of gave up on. Yet so far, it's not showing up in the scoreline.
Now it's DRX who call an early timeout. We're still in the first half. But interesting to see that really off of just this one round that went in favor of FPX, DRX decides to throw the brakes on this thing. And we've seen a couple of times throughout the tournament the Galaxy Brain chess moves that this guy on your screen can pull off in these timeouts. Remember how he's burned two of them back to back once he has a read on a situation. To be a fly on the wall right now in those comms.
Yeah, Termy, absolute legend. I think definitely cementing himself here as well as the coach for DRX. And the interesting thing so far about this game, obviously these two teams gave us the best map of the tournament so far in their first engagement in playoffs. Fnatic gone, but still here in spirit. The first engagement that they had, FPX, we're winning a lot of those clutches. We're winning a lot of those crazy moments. So far, DRX are the only guys who've really shown up in that regard, except for that last round there with Zipan.
Yeah.
Remember, Artis started off that round, and RB just walked through a wall. Look at this FPX, complete A side, open. They're just using the Prowler to get Artis set up here. Sugetsu finally rotates in, but they get the wall so they can funnel him in.
DRX maybe okay with that. Look, RB and Stacks are both up top already, excuse me. Yeah, it all works out. Angel's already fallen. The wall goes up. Remember how important that's been to their success. There's got to be a challenge. You can't let him swing. And RB does not. Now the Viper's pit that they're going to have to navigate. A 5v3 in favor of DRX off of the timeout. And it seems gorgeous. Full control in this round. Full control in this site. Can Zipan do anything about it? Artis still has the op, trying to find something free.
That's what they're trying to call it right now, trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
And flashbacks to that last retreat they had, though, where they lost two immediately. It's not going to be the case.
No, they're gone, man. They're out. Can Stacks find anything? Whoa.
He might be dead. Yeah, he's just dead.
I mean, the op is going to hold this angle, right? Surely. Oh no.
What?
Oh, no.
I mean, you don't expect a little random attacker to walk out of your own spawn.
Well then.
could end up being a pivotal miss.
Yeah, perhaps ominous.
If they can't break the economy at some point this game, this half, I mean. RB, man, this guy has been phenomenal this event. Always been the punching bag, I think, of most DRX fans and critics alike.
Absolutely.
But this role swap has worked, and obviously now in the top 4, in the lead so far. 2 rounds, he just walks through and gets entries against top-tier players here.
And again, if he doesn't swing and get that kill, the spike doesn't get planted. That was enormous. This time, DRX pushing towards Belong. They're all here, with the exception of Mako, who's making sure there's no one on the field. They're going to go here. No ultimates on the side of FPX. Sugetsu's close. Zipman's already gotten one. Oh my goodness, they've just mowed them down.
Nothing to break that high-low setup. Just nothing. They had too many players there to break, obviously, the haunt that went out from Zest, and there's just nothing else.
Yeah. Now with 50 seconds left, you wonder how DRX want to approach this. They've got plenty of money. I mean, they're sitting cozy. But they're just so outnumbered.
Oh.
That's going to help.
Angel, a misstep.
Ooh, that nade. Oh, it didn't hit him at all. Hard is holding back yellow at the top. Res through, and that's going to cause everyone to swing.
Good intention there with that nade for Zipon. Just to clear back yellow so they can go for that res. Either way, doesn't really matter, but they did invest it. And it's a couple rounds left. Maybe you can get one more up for Shout.
It feels like a stretch, though, yeah. It feels like a whole...
Yeah, it felt like that round was already won.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with you. A little bit of time to pull off a lot if you want to get Shao into the res here.
I mean, there were still 2 players up, so let's see, though. Sugetsu swapped now over towards this B side completely. Last round, he was paired up with the 2 who had that high-low setup.
And remember here, the last time they pushed into Artis with the op, here on 8, he found a lot of value. He wasn't able to close out the round, but he had gotten 2 kills.
They're doing a great job disrupting him, though. That slow that's landing top pipes, that's Artis' most preferred position to peek from. So instead, he has to find other ways. The top gen peek or down below. And obviously, that's just as risky as well.
All right, and the Prowler clears that out.
Denying Artis any of that early space that he wants. And as Chamber, it's really hard to get back in there without taking immense risks.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
Teleport's ready.
Now he's got the rendezvous set up so he can get away safely.
That knife from RP is up again, though. Yeah, he has to get out.
They're being very calculated about Artis. You're absolutely right. And you saw it there again. But you can't keep him down for long, can you?
And normally the... Oh, my goodness, dude.
It was a quick swing out from RB. But Artis gives the space back up. You see him trying to spam through that wall up in net.
That's going to get... Oh, my goodness. He has
almost
to get
got
up.
spammed, and there's Event with the ult. The Phantom gets 1, not able to get the second. 4v3 in favor of FPX.
Stax has his res. It's behind the wall right now. They want to go for it. They're going for it.
But Artis is still a problem, but it was a bait. Sugetsu cannot do it all on his own. And he gets plant money.
Last round in the half.
And mistakes were made here in this round by DRX. I mean, they didn't have the presence that they normally do on top 410. Yes, they nullified Artis completely on the back of that site. Almost completely, because he still gets more value, but...
That's filth. Yeah, that's absolute filth.
He's playing at peak level. Absolute peak.
As one.
Last round of the half, and he seems to be having a good time. Really, all of DRX, sorry. They find themselves up 3 in the first half on FPX's map pick.
Knife there designed to instantly find Artis. The tour de force up now in this last round. Doesn't find him, though, so they know potentially he's lurking here.
Here's a cheeky little setup. Artis holding this low angle.
There.
While Zipman's close by up top.
They have a potential to pounce here. You know that knife that RB continues to throw, if they wait for it, Artis can stick it, and Zipon can jump on top pipes here.
About 15 seconds roughly before he gets it back. Maybe even a little less, so we'll see. And there it is. It's up right now.
Still though, Mako has the threat of lurking down mid.
And there's really nothing to hold it. I mean, you've got Angel who's looking close by. Oh, and they just dropped the Han in there too. Rotations start to come through. RB waiting with the flash and the Prowler to clear him out. They spotted the knife, and that should give them some space, but they're going to repeat. They're going to go right back into it. Angel's already fallen, but Zippon's still here, and there are two beneath them! Right before him, and Zippon does it again! He's got 4 on the round. Mako's not around either. What a play from the duelist. And what a way to close out the half. Surely we got to look at that one again.
That was just unreal. A couple of taps. Swinging into, I mean, obviously Zest there doesn't have his utility, or it doesn't have his gun out, but still just gorgeous stuff.
I mean, to get 4 there, to have gotten 3, and then to re-swing and challenge that angle again. Oh, what a half. What a play. Let's throw it down to the desk. Chrissy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Doug. What a massive half. It is going to be ugly out there. This is a real competition, a real game we have in our hands, don't we, Benkai?
Yeah, you can just see the back and forth between these two teams, man. Like, and you can just see how well prepped the DRX is when they're executing into the site, and how happy FPX is to just play back and just play that retake with them every time.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried yet, mainly because this guy is still in the lobby. Mako has been putting up incredible figures, and this is the kind of performance that we need to see from him. Mako is utterly impeccable. He was a big part of why they were able to win versus Fnatic, and right now with the performance that he is showing, it's just crazy to see how he's able to close out these rounds time and time again.
Yeah, he's been so incredible in these clutches, but FPX's great game plans were great as well, Benkai.
Yeah, as you can see from this pistol round over here, they started off with a beautiful C-Snake, and then you could see them using the elevation to just push in front and create space for that Sage to put up their wall and get that defuse in.
Yeah, really good stuff out of them. You even see they have the deep orb there to lean into the retake, a Sage wall up to close things out. FPX is really solid with this composition, and the first time that I saw this Raze fade that they were showing on this map, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I felt like they struggled to shut down the plants, but they really were playing well to the win conditions here. Although, as we look ahead towards our second half now, I think the player to keep our eyes on is definitely Sugetsu. He's been really, really stellar for this team throughout their run at the tournament, and I think on Icebox in particular, he's really enabled when he plays on this Viper role, particularly on this attacking side. He's a big part of when they're scaling into these sites, being one of those guys that's consistently getting the trades to them, and also having those rounds where he slows things down and leads into the lurk. You can see some of those kills that he's getting out towards mid.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this matchup, two of the players that I was definitely going to have my eyes trained on were Sugetsu, were Mako, these two Viper players. They put up incredible performances so far throughout this tournament. Sugetsu is going to be instrumental if FPX are looking to turn this around.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm just so happy about is just watching these two Viper players not play from the back and just play after plant lineups. I'm just so happy that they're so happy to just go in front and just hold it down on the side for their team.
Well, it's certainly going to be an exciting second half of the game, and maybe we'll get a map 3 here. It's looking very exciting between these two teams. Let's throw it back to Doug and Bala and get the second half underway.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. I think the desk hit the nail on the head. This has felt like a slugfest between these two teams where they've just tried to one-up each other consistently, and now we're going to get the chance to see it again, this time with FPX on attack. Remember, undefeated this year in lower bracket runs. Yep. An 8-0 record. That's pretty good. I'd take those odds.
If they pull off another lower bracket run, that's just, I mean, they're already so deep that it's unbelievable. Almost every other team in the world would have crumbled at this point.
Oh, Buzz has spotted a lot of players. He takes a little bit of damage, manages to get away.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Sugetsu's playing back towards A to see if there's anyone coming in on the flank, and they still have the opportunity to pivot to A should they choose to do so.
I think that might be a little bit of a remnant of DRX playing a lot of Jet on this map recently and expecting these fast flanks.
Sure.
It's just not coming just yet, and obviously no Jet on this one.
The thing is, Sugetsu also hasn't gotten up super far, right? So they don't really understand what pressure is awaiting for them on A.
50 seconds, a lot of time to work through it, but not much utility. Angel's already used his Prowler. The nice thing here, look at Artis' position. He's all the way up B. Can easily catch rotators or hit a nasty flank.
And what I like about it, how FPX are playing this, is they're hedging bets on both sides, right? Like, they take some space B, pivot back to A. They could pivot back B if needed, or Artis can just hit the late
He's all the way
flank.
deep. Buzz might have just spotted him, though.
Oh, look at how far back he is, and they're going to rotate into him. He's got to get a kill here. If he falls, the rotation back towards B is in trouble. It's in peril. Artis trying to dance, trying to stay alive, as you feel them start to swarm, and Artis falls. But the thing is, with 15 seconds left, they don't really have time to go anywhere else. They have to commit to be here.
Got the wall, they can easily plant. Oh, the nade go through that wall.
Oh, Sugetsu got to find another, and he does. Xiao gets to play it down to 4v3, turns into a 4v1.
There's no segments left, and they're still taking the fights.
The late round call, the late pivot.
Everybody out of position dealing with Artis' flank and Sugetsu in mid.
Boy, did that pay off. FPX win the second round pistol. We called it, man. It's a juggernaut match, right? This is a heavyweight fight.
And this is the second pistol for FPX as well. Look at this from Sugetsu, man. Finds the perfect time to inch his way in there, separate the two, and even find Stacks falling off the boiler. It's a little death slam there from Stacks.
Not amused. Sunglasses look good, though.
Kang styling as always.
5 stack towards B from DRX off of the knife, and there's everyone here. Zipan's gotten past it, though. He satchels his way up. The Prowler's going to spot one.
This is a stack. You mentioned it, all 5 players here, but they're working him right now. Zipan on top, Artis down on bottom, and that nade is perfect to do damage to both him and Zest down below.
This has been so well played from FPX, man.
A far cry difference from that anti-eco in the first half. And they felt out the stack. They got a couple kills of it, did cut their losses, and took the other side. Look at Sugetsu. He's all the way deep.
If they continue to expose the soft sides of the map like this, DRX are in trouble. I think the fact that we've already seen FPX circumnavigate the defenses of DRX, I mean, it's only been 2 rounds.
Yeah, but it's only been 2 rounds, all right? This is an eco trying to stack them off. Yes, though. I mean, on that pistol round, you're certainly right. It reminds me of the way that Optic ends up working the rotations against all sorts of teams, but DRX specifically.
Sugetsu just on the other side. One enemy remaining. And the timing, it didn't look like it was going to work in his favor, but he does eventually swing out, get the last 2 with the Ghost, and get FPX to 7.
And he's very happy to hunt kills there. Not only does he want the ult orbs, but he's only got the Ghost, not worried about losing that to them at all. 7-7, we're all tied up. Heading into the main part of the second half. Huge bonus here from FPX. 4 rifles, excuse me. And DRX also a little bit of a weak purchase in terms of the armor at least. Same thing though on the FPX side. And note, the only Phantom in the server, actually 2 Phantoms, Buzz and Mako. So all that light armor on the side of FPX hurts a little bit.
There certainly has the potential to, for sure. FPX cheating towards A. You do have 2 members from DRX here in Buzz and Stacks. And they're about to have their hands full, man. Oh, he spotted a shoulder. But is that enough to draw rotates? You see the nade, he's got to get away. Buzz looking for reswing, he spotted one too. Now the Prowler down, the wall up. And somehow FPX have made their way through this site.
And no casualties for them either.
Yeah.
No picks though either too. So they have to stay up close to maybe force them to make a mistake here.
Sugetsu on the bottom of the mini-map there, checking the flank. He also has 2 mollies he can deal with for post-plant.
Cheeky position there from Artis. Easily spammable if they find it out. Ooh, what a molly.
So then get this face up, but no, forget the spam. It's Artis who's going to get the kill. But Zest on the swing.
Ciao.
Oh my gosh, he was just on the other side, but he's caught. He's patient, and he's rewarded. You mentioned it was a big bonus. They convert. They deliver.
That's huge. The potential to go up now to 9 rounds. The potential to really take control of this game after losing it early in that first half. Speaking of Xiao, I mean, DRX also not super. Obviously, it's very difficult to be diligent in those positions. There's so many players of FPX up close. There's so many players fighting you at that moment. Super difficult. But Xiao just rips them apart because of it. Oh, good spam too from Angel. Very aware Buzz, lurking in the midst.
And he did he's down to 48 HP. Yeah, he's gonna get a heal up.
Zest did rotate after the haunt information in mid, so Zeston getting a little ahead of himself.
Nice shot up.
Nade got off though, so plenty of space still helped. Not taking any risks here in this anti-eco to the Sheriffs of DRX, and there was plenty of these rounds won from both sides in their initial playoff bout.
Gonna try to rotate back towards B. And now the Prowler only made its way up from Zest to 410, so they don't really know if there's anyone further back. They still have to respect the possibility that it's an A hit. And it's not until they see something at B that they can pull off.
30 seconds left.
That seems to be enough. They hear the Satchels going through. They're going to start to dump utilities.
Buzz is in the smoke.
DRX have to pull back. And you're right, he's in the smoke. Oh gosh! Quick right click gets the kill!
He's stuck behind the wall. He gets up on the rope. Oh my goodness.
He's still playing up so aggressively.
So he's got to get the spike.
Challenge.
The molly missed, so the spike's going down.
Yeah, so he gets manages to get it down. Art is still playing.
What?
Oh,
He just gave a vandal.
Gets the kill! You're right. Sure. Oh, they don't pick it up. They're just going to challenge. Maybe they've missed it either way. Zipan's got a 1v2, and it's much more manageable now that there's not a vandal on the other side! But it doesn't matter! Mako with the shots, RB with the defuse, and DRX with the clap back.
Thrifty.
The loss of position early on this plant forced a massive overstep here from FPX. I mean, you could already see there was Buzz in the middle of that. The one player, Buzz, trying to get away on the rope. Artist going deep again. Everybody wanted to fight to maintain a little bit of that space and help the players who were going for that plant to get out of there, but whew. Still a huge bang for FPX. Not going to really cut too deep, but that's not a round DRX should have won.
Not at all, and it keeps the map close.
Yeah, I'm all for it. The closer the better.
I mean, it just continues this back and forth, right? Like this trading of blows that we've discussed.
So the ult to note here is Sugetsu. He's got his pit. And FPX have been, so far, very good at getting on the site. So what does DRX have cooked up here? They're looking for a mid. There's so many pits that you could use here in mid.
Maybe
that
a
can
kitchen
cause,
one? Yeah,
kitchen. There's the kitchen lurk.
Yep.
The one that goes all the way up top nest.
Is that tower going to get deep enough? Yeah, it is. Oh, and you heard a lot of gunfire on the other side of that. Really no reason to conceal anymore as you hear him thunderfooting up to into kitchen. And Zest is on the other side, but he can't get in. The Prowler can't get in either.
The nest plant is so brutal to deal with, especially without mid control, and Zipan's holding on to it right now. And he even gets RB.
He's got to find more.
Oh, that spam's getting mighty close!
Oh my gosh!
30 seconds left.
The spike wasn't down.
Down, B.
And Sugetsu's the Viper now planning.
There's still plenty of time, though. There's still plenty of numbers. Can the rest of DRX chip away at what they have set up?
No.
Oh my gosh! It's gotten down to 2!
But I have to ask, why again, Artist? You have the option of staying in the pit.
Punished for his mistake, and now it's a 2v2. Sugetsu's still keeping the pit up as the spike ticks away.
Save.
Yeah.
Can't get in. You know that rope's being covered.
Oh my gosh, what a hold. And yes, blunders aplenty, but what a hold.
So, okay, they did use a combination. And the typical place to lurk. That'll get the kill. Zipan's going to potentially chase here. That's 2. They
had to get out of there with the plant the way that it was. But to explain Artis, he normally would lurk out from on the stairs right there where you see on your screen because the pit's covering that area. So he's trying to get an advantage where they think they're watching. But it just completely does not work out.
I mean, the timing could not have been worse. That is truly unlucky.
And specifically because Buzz is there, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else might take their chances of walking into that pit. Buzz with the op, no way. But it's still a round win for FPX either way.
You want to play? Let's play.
But the gun's available. The side of DRX, we've seen this before, FPX. They put Zipon on top, they use that molly to clear out the boiler spot from Zest. And now Zipon, a big threat.
I mean, Artis too, they just used the Roomba to get Artis so much space up.
And Artis, a very safe fight given the wall. They could always put that up. Has to chase them through 2 segments of it. And now they can cut noise. Wall's back up. They have to use some utility here by Zest to clear in. There's the Prowler. They're going to push in front of that wall right now. But even that's not giving you too much information.
No.
Could still be up in that kitchen segment. They could still be in the 2.
Off of that, you just saw Sax had to check it.
Zipon had to give it up, though. And there was 2 mollies there. He could have struck with the showstopper. But instead, they'll go for the standard here.
5-man death ball towards B.
30 seconds left.
Zipon has ult. He has no satchels to go with. Oh, and Mako spotted off of the on, and now the Prowler's there. He still has the Viper Spit, but he's got a nade on his lap. Oh, but it's not going to hit him. This wall goes up, and he has to try to spam through it. There you hear the ult.
He's seized. Oh, the
They're
cancel.
clearing the wall.
RB with his no command at the perfect time, and that showstopper's gone. Mako has his ult too. He can put it down at any point to start this retake off.
Patience right now from the Viper players. Buzz trying to clear out back yellow, trying to see what he can find with the op, and he's going to spot a couple of members, but the shot goes wide. Is there help? Yes! It is help in the way of RB. Sugetsu playing close. They put up a wall of their own, and it easily disintegrates. It melts right before them. A 3v2 here. Sugetsu and Xiao try to hold the line, and so far they've done it. Can Buzz 1v2? No!
Huge hold from Sugetsu and Xiao. And again, it's one of those positions where Xiao is just tucked, and he does such a good job at not only supporting his teammates. Right here, Xiao.
One enemy remaining.
Holds on against Zest, where Sugetsu gets the first. It's just ping-ponging back off of each other. That was a 2v4.
And those fights are so close, man. You can, it's knife's edge. DRX call a timeout here. Still a 2-round game. Still close. Still well within reach.
But that's frustrating if you're Stacks. You're the rest of the DRX players too, because everything went well. They nullified the mid control.
They nullified the showstopper.
All the take ideas from FPX were canceled.
Yeah.
And then they got their pit up. All the win conditions were there. They just couldn't deal with the 2. Sugetsu and Xiao, formidable duo. 2 of the players with the most clutches in this tournament. And while that might not count for the stats, it's still a 2v4 that is super hard to win.
Yeah, guy, but if you're single, you gotta put your Instagram on there, put your Twitter. We'll help you out.
No, I've been actually doing him dirty though.
We're trying to help the guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
You mentioned the 2-round lead for FPX. It has the potential to balloon to 3 here as DRX. They have won the only Thrifty in this map, but they're going to have to do it again if they want to keep it close.
And 11 is a dangerous number.
Yes, it is.
Fast again, the same wall. Zipon on top of 2. RB. Oh.
He was much
going through.
He was much more aggressive this time around too. Zest with the Prowler in his face swings around, it's down to 6 HP, and Zipon, you see it. He was expecting the swing from Stacks. Mako's fallen. RB's still close by, but they're just getting ripped to shreds.
Those 2 picks right now that you see on your screen, the 2 blue X's of DRX's death. Super unconventional spots. Artis goes all the way up there. And that's a great mix-up.
Choosing to use the Nightfall. to get into A.
Clears all the sight.
Yeah. And Artist is the first to follow. But maybe Buzz, with the Tour de Force, can do something here. Using an ever-important ultimate. And well, that's certainly going to help. What the heck was that?
Only 3 bullets in his headhunter.
Only 3 guys left on the other side. Angel, Xiao, and Zipman trying to hold this.
Might as well go for it here.
He slipped ahead, and he spotted 1. He's gotten it down to 2.
That wall's a problem, though. He has to play from this side as the chamber. Can't break it.
But there is no post fight. There's really nothing left, so he still has to take the fight, and Xiao's waiting on the other side. And Xiao cleans him up. He was holding the angle, and it was all too easy at that point.
3-round lead now for FPX. 2 rounds away from closing out the first map.
6 of the last 7 going in their way.
And the only round they lost was certainly
a winnable one.
A winnable one, but also their own fault. That's the one where, you know, Artist pushed over top of the wall to get in top of the nest on B. Other than that, DRX have not been in control. And that mix-up that FPX just called puts so many thoughts in the coaches and IGL's head right now. RB, can he escape? Good flash.
Very good flash. Remember, Zipman found a lot of value from this spot just a couple of rounds ago.
Really haven't gone for a full push-up kitchen yet. And also, they know that Buzz is playing here. Remember, they got the TP off immediately. So if they can take down Buzz, Sugetsu gets unlocked. RB's going to challenge, though. Good awareness. Just have the clock in your head to be able to wait. They're going to re-challenge him, actually. Trying to keep him down in here.
But there are 2 here. Oh, my goodness. He's dangerous with it. He's bold with it. Artist goes down. Artist goes right back up. Oh, and there was a swing off of Buzz. Somehow Artist stays alive, though. And they've gotten the spike down. DRX was such an advantage. Such a numbers advantage. My goodness, not again. DRX finds one, Zipman finds another. They're outnumbered and they don't seem to care, but DRX finally come to life.
All the kills swinging in their favor there. Artist trying to claw something back, but they're too quick. A great shutdown of the mid-approach from Sugetsu there. They notice Artist is on that B side. He's the one leading the charge. Got a little chuckle out of me. He's the one leading the charge, so they're absolutely happy to take the fight to just the Viper. He can't get out of there. So there's a slow on the side of him. The Haunt's going in as well, and they're pushing him from both bottom tube in mid and top tube, and keeping somebody watching him backside of Boiler. Great trap setup. This is where you got to equalize here if you're DRX. Try to break the bank right now.
You have to.
And it's a big round to try to stop right now because FPX got this Viper's Pit again. Remember, success that you can find with it.
Zipman's just so bold, man, in the face of the Haunt. Position given away in the flash there. Somehow he survives.
Survives, but did not get the space. Ponytail from Xiao.
They still are working their way forward. Mako has to hold things, and he's seen 2 members already. There it is on the second swing. Xiao's able to claim it out, but Tess holding things back, at least temporarily. Artist is left in this 1v3. He's gotten into a 1v2. RB's weak. Buzz is healthy.
He's in front of the wall.
77.
He's stuck.
4 armor. He's gotten it down to 1, but he has no idea where Buzz is. Guessing every which way he can, and Buzz, 3rd time's a charm. First 2 bullets go wide, but DRX get the round.
FPX up close.
Oh my gosh.
But it's a meat grinder as well. They got denied the first chance. And then they get really close. They get the wall up and they try to even go further. And they didn't do that the last time. They got stalled. Instead, they fell back. Instead, they even rotated all the way back to B. I'm even thinking back to the pistol round as well, where Artist was lurking deep.
A 1-round game. for how good FPX have looked in this second half. I'm kind of astounded that we find ourselves here. But a one-round game nonetheless. Remember, this is FPX's map pick too.
And it was an equalizer too. Because now they have ults to respond to their own. They've got RB's KO ult. But more importantly, the buy on FPX's side is absolutely trash.
And if that does hold fast, if that does remain true, there's a good chance we're looking at 11 apiece here. But they have something, right? They've got Artist with the Vandal, they have a Stinger in Sugetsu, and in the hands of Shao. And I wonder if they play around Zipan. Yeah, he's gotten a Stinger too. 1 point away from the showstopper. Sugetsu has his pit.
They're going to go for it. And look, here, I kind of like this. Given the fact they're able to get up close on A almost every single time, closing the distance and using those Stingers to burst past the time you think that they're getting stopped. Yes, Stacks is here. Yes, Mako's here. They can get both of those key utility factors to delay down. But if FPX just say, let's go anyways, I can find room for Artists to work absolute magic with that Vandal.
It may be overwhelming on the other side. Zipan's got to close the gap. There it is. Oh, but the Stinger, he only shot 1 bullet. Stacks was happy to greet him there.
He was so far ahead of his team.
It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't comprehensive either. They just kind of walked into it with a whimper.
So same thing that you faced last time if you're DRX. You know how you shut it down. Use the wall to get in behind them and all fight at the same time from all sides of the site.
Note here, Zest and RB have key ultits.
Teleport's ready.
To work with. And once again, they're just waiting for whatever the cue is. Mako's already spotted one. And Sax actually gets the first kill into Shao. Yeah, the Stingers are just not doing what they were intended to do whatsoever. The prime gaming flawless to bring us to 11 apiece. And they hold those 2 ults that we were talking about.
Just feels like the Stingers. The later we get in this tournament, those buys are just not working out as well.
And they were causing fits at the beginning, but you're right.
It's all tied up, and the DRX fans back in the building. And it's still not even that good. Actually, that buy is forcing a lot of weaker buys here out of FPX, so a little bit of an overinvestment right now, and they have to fight. The better buy here from DRX.
Again, an aggressive spot from Zipan as he's gotten down low, and I don't think they know that
he's so
swung
far
around
ahead
the
again.
corner. Oh, but RB saves the day!
Again, he's by himself, completely untradeable. And his teammates didn't even get extra space. They don't even know. Oh, Buzz.
I thought that hit.
It did hit.
I thought it hit harder.
Angel 5 and 18. He was crazy good in the game against Xset. He was the guy. Instead of Sugetsu and Shao, it was him and one of those two.
He was electric. Buzz not able to hit the elbow on that shot.
Ooh, the slow keeps him in no man's land.
Got to back that thing up. Still holding back yellow. Artist on the other side.
RB still has this, no command, just use them. They can't even execute. 40 seconds left. This delays them for so long, honestly. At this point, what do you do, the team?
Yeah, do you pivot? Do you stay?
30 seconds left.
You don't have very much time. You don't have very many options either.
It's the last pulse. 20 seconds. To execute, get the site, plant down. We saw nothing there.
Good night, that was a wide swing though, bro. Now they know you see the nightfall. Both ultimates used. Shao has fallen. RB trying to keep them back even further as Artist creeps his way up. And with 9 seconds left, they still haven't gotten the spike down. Now Sugetsu trying to do it, and the Haunt's going to find the value. I don't know that it was enough. Oh, the second kill! There's no time!
And
I think I just heard Achilles. Woo! From the desk.
No time. And no hope. What a good ult.
Both of them, right? The initial delay off of the no command.
That nightfall literally decayed for RB to get that spam. Everybody was healthy on the side of FPX. We didn't have an engagement yet. They just got ulted. The only person went down the zip on there. They're going to go for it again. This time, there's no key tools from DRX.
You see the financial implications of how FPX have approached the last few rounds. A Sheriff, a Guardian, a Bulldog, 2 Bulldogs to keep the map alive.
And when the wind conditions is your pit, you don't want a Guardian or a Sheriff. Bulldogs are okay. They just took a little bit of space here towards B, used a little bit of utility, and then fell back. But look at DRX. They're even closer than they've ever been on that lane. So they know what's up. Zippon has to go huge here.
Absolutely. He's been so good.
25 and 17. He's been the guy to get these spaces done. And oh, he's in the smoke. He disappeared. No.
There's no value found with the ult, but he's taking the space. How much more can he find? There it is. There's a good one.
Gotta find the Viper, though. He's still inside.
It has to go down. Mako up top. Oh, it's a barrel right into his ear. But Zipan's still alive.
They still have the pit.
Maybe not healthy, but he's still trying to make a play on the round. You see the pit go up, and it goes right back down. That's DRX take Icebox.
The first matchup between these two teams went the absolute distance in the first map. But this one a little less draining than that first one. What was it, 6 overtimes?
Yeah.
We're going to Haven next. That's DRX's pick. FPX saw what happened to them against Fnatic and thought they could do the same, but no, not even close.
Oh my goodness. What a map.
I even forgot about that.
That just feels so long ago.
That's a ridiculous performance from so many players.
DRX showed some grit, man. That second half felt so dominant in FPX's favor.
And don't, yeah, I mean, you're right. What was it, 4 rounds in a row at least?
Yeah,
FPX
6 of 7.
winning.
Yeah. 6 of 7 to start the second half. It was just so good.
Those mid splits started to come in, and it was fully FPX favored. And then FPX tried to work around the same idea and just got shut down. Here's the last round. RB, what a monster he's been.
Again, in a different role, and he has delivered.
Here at Istanbul, he's just been absolutely nasty. Just nasty.
And he still has a chance to continue to be nasty. Mako popped off, Buzz popped off. It was a whole team effort from DRX, and they look so good.
Stacks also, really good IGLing, the coaching staff as well. I mean, the timeouts, we went the entire distance, and we still got more here between these two teams. Last chance for both of them, but FPX now down a map.
Their map 2, whether they remain Ashes or become the Phoenix, is up to them. We'll be right back.
Time to let's go. Let yourself be free. This is a long trip. I've got what you need.
Welcome back to Valorant Champions, and that was map 1 of FPX versus DRX, and DRX close it out. I know someone at this table might be more than just a little excited about that turnout.
Yeah, Ben Kai, you hyped up, man?
Yeah, obviously, man. Yeah. Asia represent, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, you can really see how these two teams had such good game plans going into the game, and how DRX, even though like it kind of pains me to see that they had no flanks the entire game, but they had such strong faith in their retake protocols that whatever FPX did, they just seemed to be so comfortable with just going together as a team and just retaking everything with the good utility usage and just pushing them back.
I really like your point around the flanks, because I think that was one of the big failures of them when they were playing on that Killjoy comp. They weren't really setting up those traps, setting up those flanks that are successful with that. They make a change, come out with a new composition here, and are quite successful, Seth.
Yeah, it was great to see here from DRX. A couple of sweaty moments there for me, with FPX running it back, but I'm just glad that this was close. But much improved from DRX given what they showed versus Fnatic. The swaps, having Buzz go back over to the chamber here on this map, clearly working out for them in a good way. But FPX, it's not over yet for them.
Yeah, and what really surprised me was how well DRX adjusted to FPX's mid presence, because on the attacking side, DRX had virtually no mid presence, and just to see them adjust to how FPX was playing their game plan really surprised me.
Yeah, this was one such example. Sugetsu gets shut down in mid, and DRX just played a really good retake. I was impressed with how they were playing in these retakes in the second half, especially with their composition considered there. FPX tends to be a team that's one of the best when they get in that post punt, particularly when they are playing on this raised composition. So I think DRX again is proving that under pressure, they can adapt. They've already broken through their curse, and they're really dedicated to going further in this event.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while I don't expect that we're going to be seeing the head-to-head in the same exact way with the Chamber v Chamber moving into Haven, unless DRX decides to alter the composition again. I mean, two players that we need to look at are, of course, going to be Artis and Buzz, both of them having pretty similar performances overall, but Buzz eking it out just a little bit more, slightly fewer deaths for him, but I mean, Artis is the guy that FPX needs to be able to rely on. Zipan had a wonderful game here himself, but Artis whiffing a couple shots that normally we know he is damn good for, but it's not looking like the same form that we've seen from him in the past series.
Well, and speaking of Zipan, it is time for our Verizon high-speed moment of the match, which obviously goes to Zipan's incredible 4K.
Yeah, this guy has had a really strong performance, even in the loss on map number 1. I think this role on Raze continues to just be an incredible, comfortable one for him. This moment was absolutely absurd. This guy is just a fantastic individual, pretty much no matter the role.
I think that was the moment that I started feeling like I was going to get boomed. Just completely and utterly mentally broken. Zipan, I think he's had a little bit of a rougher go in some of their last series, but he was a monster in the overtime rounds versus Xset in their last series. Now he kicks things off with his Raze and he's looking explosive. So if Zipan's going to continue to perform like this, and if Artis can find his stride, then I'm definitely going to become quite concerned for DRX's future in the series.
Yeah, you kind of always see the focus turn towards like Sugetsu, Shao, and Artis, the trio of them, but Zipan is really showing up this time, and he's just like showing the crowd, I'm here. FPX is not just like a three-man show.
Yeah. Well, before we head into map 2, let's head into the Aim Lab shoot-around for a little pre-game warm-up with RB. We're going to be following him around.
Yeah, I mean, RB is a guy who's had a lot of pressure placed on him, and I think he really came out and impressed with their previous game to break that curse